Chapter 1765. Not to mention that he can now, even if he can't, I still have to recognize him. Your martial uncle's only disciple, I have to take care of him. King Yawu said. Disciple understands. Fan Tian nodded. Actually, you and him have the opposite master. You practice sword techniques, but I practice spear techniques. He practiced spear techniques, but he inherited your martial uncle's sword techniques. King Yawu shook his head. After explaining, King Yawu waved his hand at Fan Tian. Although I haven't seen you before, master must be right. Giving you a mansion can't be bad. Wang Shang, it's you. Your character is not good, but you still have to give a domineering name. After leaving Yawu Mountain, Fan Tian muttered and arrived at a mansion in Divine Capital. It was a mansion with gardens. Huang Shang, get out here. Fan Tian shouted in front of the mansion. Following Fan Tian's shout, a yellow-robed old man flew out. Commander Fan Tian, why have you come to my humble place? The old man who came out had shock in his eyes because Fan Tian's name was too famous in Divine Capital. He was the killing god, and every time he appeared, he would clean up a force in Divine Capital. Nothing much, I'm just here to take your head. Fan Tian said and drew his sword. The sword was the Big Dipper sword. There were 7 shining stars on the 4-feet-long blade. Following the flash of light, Fan Tian's domain and attack were released. Earth, water, wind, fire, lightning, light and darkness. 7 types of elemental light burst out. Although they were only 7 types of ordinary elemental light, they had perfectly fused together. 7th level domain. After the domain exploded, the Big Dipper sword in Fan Tian's hand trembled, and the sword aura began to cut inside the domain. The domain that Huang Shang hurriedly supported was immediately shattered. His body was hit by several swords and then more and more sword aura slashed past. Huang Shang's body was full of holes and then it collapsed. From the beginning to the end, Huang Shang was killed in an instant. Huang Shang did not curse as it was only his clone that was killed. If he dared to curse, then his original body would not be able to live, and the force he belonged to would be eradicated. He was clear about this. Everyone in the mansion, listen up. Get out of here now. If you come back, die. Fan Tian roared. Who in the mansion dared to stay after their leader was killed? They didn't even dare to pack up and scattered like birds and beasts. Looking at the mansion, Fan Tian thought for a moment, then with a flash, he blocked a deacon of the city lord's mansion. He did not care what the deacon did and directly brought him to the mansion. Here are 200,000 Saint Spirit stones. Renovate this place and change the environment. Spend all of it. Don't leave a single Saint Spirit stone behind. Look after this place until someone comes to take it, Fan Tian said. Lord Commander, don't worry. This subordinate will handle it well. The deacon bowed. He knew about Fan Tian. After that, just as he was about to leave, Fan Tian, who had walked a few steps, turned around, removed the signboard and replaced it with a new one. Sir, what should we name the new plaque? The deacon asked. Night Moon Villa. He had been to the Misty Imperial Court before and knew that Night Sorrow's residence in the Misty Imperial Court was called Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow and the rest stayed in the Tianhuang city for a few more days. After failing to catch Zhu Chaohe, the Great Demon King suggested that they go to the Divine Capital. That's the real world. This place is a little desolate, the Great Demon King said. But there are some things that we have to pay attention to. There are a few unscrupulous people in the Divine Capital. We're fine. Even if they want to kill us, we have the ability to protect ourselves. However, Night Sorrow is different. That means that when we reach the Divine Capital, we have to know what we're doing. Once we're there, we have to pay a visit to the 7th Elder, Pu Luo said. Are you talking about that murderous Fan Tian? The people we're going to take care of are those with bad morals. Without the City Lord's mansion's order, he won't do anything, the Great Demon King said. They had their own forces in the Divine Capital, so they knew the city well. That's it then. Let's go, Lin Miao Miao said. Said Lin Piao Miao. She also wanted to see Yi Shan make a name for himself. The Tianhuang city was like this, but the Divine Capital was a different space. Before leaving, Night Sorrow planned to pay a visit to Lu Qi and tell him about his trip to the Divine Capital. Lu Qi had been to the ethereal Imperial City, and Yi Shang had seen him before. They were familiar with each other, so he had to say goodbye before leaving. Furthermore, he had caused a huge ruckus in the heavenly desolate city, so he had to leave an explanation. In the tower, Night Sorrow saw Lu Qi. The Grand Elder was there too. Night Sorrow, you're here. Lu Qi greeted with a smile. Night Sorrow greets the Grand Elder and 7th Elder. Night Sorrow bowed to the Grand Elder and Lu Qi. Let's sit down and talk. You're here to see us. Seems like you're done and are about to leave, the Grand Elder said. Great Elder, it seems like you're a little angry. Yishang is here to make things clear. Yishang did cause trouble, but he didn't cause trouble for good people. The people he caused trouble for were all people with bad characters and bad records. Yishang revealed his main purpose. I know, I understand. It's a good thing. At least there's a change in Yuchu. He volunteered to guard the passage between the human race and the foreign races. The others will be cautious and won't dare to do anything, the Grand Elder said after looking at Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder is not annoyed. Night Sorrow is relieved. Night Sorrow is here to bid farewell to the two elders. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder again. Sit down first. There's no rush, the Grand Elder waved his hand. Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder and Seventh Elder before sitting down again. You guys are going to the Divine Capital, right? But in 5 years you have to come back. 5 years later, the 100 Race Alliance will be selecting the first vanguard. I want you to participate, the Grand Elder said. 5C1 orders. I can't. I don't have the strength to take on such a big responsibility, Night Sorrow refused without thinking. Because there were crouching tigers and hidden dragons in Tianhuang City. Not to mention the human elders, they were all experts. There were also many commanders. These commanders were all very strong. Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King were both commanders. There is a limit to who can fight for the vanguard position. Only cultivators under the Emperor rank can fight for this position. This position has been vacant for a while. Although there have been deaths, we humans have never given up this position. We have always fought for it. The Great Elder said. Below the Emperor rank, wouldn't a 6-star Emperor rank be able to kill me easily? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder. 5 years is a short time, but it's also a long time. I have confidence in you, the Grand Elder said. The warriors of our human race, even if they knew they would die in battle, they would never retreat. As the virtuous emperor of the human race, would you retreat? I was once the first vanguard of the human race. Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow. Let me know when the time comes. Night Sorrow looked at Lu Qi and nodded. Chapter 1766. The Peerless Sword Emperor has an inheritance for you, but he's a sword cultivator. You can only learn spear techniques from him. I specialize in spear techniques. Take this spear manual and study it. It might be helpful to you. The Grand Elder took out a spear manual and handed it to Night Sorrow. Grand Elder. Holding the spear manual, Night Sorrow was stunned. This was an inheritance. Lu Qi and the others had to call him Senior Peerless Sword Emperor, but the Great Elder didn't. This was because he was someone from the same era and had lived until now. He was a true giant of the human race. A true almighty. His inheritance was something that many people dreamed of. Take it. This is the Grand Elder's hard work. We have to make the best use of it. Lu Qi nodded. After you go to the Divine Capital, go and see the 7th Elder. The Grand Elder got up and left. My mansion in the Divine Capital is called the Sword Mansion. You can go to the City Lord Mansion and find me there, Lu Qi said to Yishan. After Night Sorrow left the tower, he returned to his courtyard. Things are done. Let's go. Night Sorrow said to the people waiting. Then they took the Imperial Teleportation Array and arrived at the Divine Capital. Let's go to my residence first. Lin Piaomiao said after exiting the Teleportation Array. The group agreed. Although they all had their own territories, they could talk when they were together. They had been working hard and cultivating hard. Now that they had a like-minded partner, they were happy. After arriving at Lin Piaomiao's residence, Night Sorrow drank a few sips of tea with everyone and left. After asking around, Night Sorrow arrived at the Divine Capital. However, he was stopped by the guards. The Divine Capital's City Lord residence wasn't a place that anyone could enter. Night Sorrow said that he wanted to see Elder Lu Qi. The guard went in to report. When he came out, he said that Night Sorrow wasn't there. After asking the guards of the City Lord's mansion, Yishang found Lu Qi's sword mansion. You came quickly. Night Sorrow had just arrived when Lu Qi appeared. Night Sorrow greets 7th Elder. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lu Qi. Lu Qi smiled as he brought Night Sorrow into the mansion. An attendant brewed tea for him. Lu Qi introduced the situation and rules of God's capital to Night Sorrow. Currently, Elder Yan Qi was in charge of running the Divine Capital. He was mainly in charge of the City Lord's mansion's tax collection and business operations. As for upholding the rules, it was the City Guard Army. The City Guard Army had 2 commanders. Their way of upholding the rules was very simple, which was to kill. If you don't touch my bottom line, I'll ignore you. If you touch my bottom line, I'll wipe you out. No one cares about things like fighting for territory or killing for revenge. However, if you commit crimes and lose your morals, you'll be in trouble. This rule is really cruel, Knight Sorrow said. This was the first time he had heard of such a rule. This is the only way to produce experts, isn't it? This is also King Yowu's character, Lu Qi said with a smile. There's a reason why it exists. Don't worry, Seventh Elder. I won't do anything immoral, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He didn't want Lu Qi to worry. Know your bottom line and do what you need to do. There won't be any problems. God's capital suits you, Lu Qi said with a smile. He knew that even if Knight Sorrow continued to smash bricks, the City Lord's mansion wouldn't punish him severely. Thank you for your advice, Seventh Elder. Knight Sorrow will go back first. After drinking a cup of tea, Knight Sorrow stood up. He wasn't here to ask for help. He was here to pay a visit. After reminding Knight Sorrow, Lu Qi sent Knight Sorrow out of the mansion. After leaving Lu Qi's mansion, Knight Sorrow walked around the city. Then he returned to Lin Piaomiao's mansion. In a waterside pavilion, Ruisi held a large piece of white paper in his hand. It was filled with names. Some of the names were marked with X's and their misdeeds were noted. Behind every name on the list, there was an evaluation. It was an evaluation that Pu Luo and the others agreed with. You're back. We're studying the list. It's all the famous people in God's capital. However, we can't do anything to some of them. We can only eliminate them first and find someone who can be dealt with, Pu Luo said. We can't do anything to them. Let's put them aside for now. Knight Sorrow nodded. Some things couldn't be done by force. At this time, the guards of Lin Piaomiao's mansion came to report that someone wanted to see Knight Sorrow outside. Fen Tian? Pu Luo's eyes were cautious. Before the guards arrived, everyone had already detected Fen Tian's arrival. Pu Luo and the Great Demon King looked at each other and stood up. Knight Sorrow, the situation is not good. Lin Piaomiao's face was also very cold. Then the voices of Lin Piaomiao and the others resounded in Knight Sorrow's mind. They were communicating with Knight Sorrow using their soul power. They did not want Fen Tian, who was outside the mansion, to hear them. Their intentions were more or less the same. This Fen Tian was not to be trifled with. Not to mention his own strength, he had a powerful backer, Marshal King Ye, behind him. His purpose in God's capital was to kill. I didn't expect such a person to come knocking on my door when I just arrived in God's capital. But it doesn't matter. Knight Sorrow smiled at them. He stood up and walked out of the mansion. Fen Tian stood outside Lin Piaomiao's mansion. Naturally, he could see everything in the mansion. When the few of them stood there in silence, he naturally knew that they were communicating with their soul power. Noticing that Knight Sorrow shook his head at Pu Luo and the others, Fen Tian knew that Pu Luo and the others had told Knight Sorrow about his identity. Fen Tian knew his own situation. He did not have a good impression in the hearts of the people in God's capital. No one was willing to see him appear. Knight Sorrow arrived at the entrance of the mansion and cupped his hands towards Fen Tian. Knight Sorrow greets Commander Fen Tian. I wonder why Commander is looking for Knight Sorrow? Nothing much. I'll bring you to a place. Fen Tian looked at Lin Piaomiao and the others who were walking out of the mansion. Go to a place? All right. Knight Sorrow nodded. Fen Tian and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other. Lin Piaomiao, the Great Demon Lord, and Fen Tian were all ranked at the top of this year's Divine Demon list. If you're interested, we can go together. After looking at each other for a while, Fen Tian said and turned to leave. The few of them flew in the city. After a while, they arrived at the mansion that Fen Tian had prepared. It was now the Night Moon Villa. Night Moon Villa. Looking at the signboard, Knight Sorrow was stunned for a moment. Night Moon Villa was the signboard of his residence in the Misty Empire. At this moment, the City Lord's mansion enforcer who was guarding the Night Moon Villa bowed to them. Fen Tian was the commander of the City Lord's mansion and he knew him. Although Lin Piaomiao, the Great Demon Lord, Pu Luo, Ruisi and Yu Zhu were not from the City Lord's mansion, they were still the leaders of the forces in God's capital. They were all very famous and he naturally knew them. You can go back. There's nothing for you to do here. Fen Tian waved his hand and entered the mansion. Although Knight Sorrow was confused, he followed him in. He did not know what Fen Tian wanted to do. Fen Tian did not say anything. He brought Knight Sorrow and the others to walk around the mansion. Then they went to the main hall of the mansion and waved his hand to dismiss the maids in the main hall. Knight Sorrow, how is this mansion? Very good. I just don't know why it's called the Night Moon Villa. Knight Sorrow asked. Because from today onwards this will be your Night Moon Villa. Fen Tian said. This place doesn't belong to Huangshang. Why is it Night Sorrows? The great demon lord asked. Chapter 1767. Who gave me the gift? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. You will know when the time comes, but it's not mine. I will also give you a gift, but I haven't prepared it yet. Fentian said. Night Sorrow was puzzled. He only knew a few people from the celestial realm who came from the desolate heaven city. It was hard to understand why someone from the divine capital would give him a mansion with a garden. If you like it, it's fine as long as you think it's suitable. Fentian looked at the pondering Night Sorrow and said. King Yawu only asked him to clean up the place and give it as a gift, he did not say anything else. If someone dares to give it to me, then I dare to accept it. Thank you, Commander Fentian. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Fentian. It's nothing, I just killed someone once. Fentian shook his head. Looking at Night Sorrow, Fentian thought of what King Yawu said. Before they met, Fentian did not have a good impression of Night Sorrow. He felt that although Night Sorrow was talented, he was too good at tormenting others. But when he saw Yishang in person, he realized that Yishang did indeed have a unique charm. His every movement was natural, and he did not reject or be on guard against him just because of his reputation. Oh, I'm afraid I can't kill for you, Commander. Today I can only give you a jar of wine to express my gratitude. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and handed it to Fentian. Jersey, since you've just arrived, you have many things to take care of. This commander shall not disturb you any further. Another day when you've stabilized, this seat will come and find you again. Fentian took Yishang's wine, nodded to Yishang and left. He did not let Yishang send him off. Walking to the front of the mansion, Fentian stopped. He felt that this disciple of his martial uncle was not bad. With a wave of his arm, Sword Chi appeared. On the bottom right corner of the signboard, the words Night Moon Villa were engraved. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. He still couldn't figure out who would be so generous as to gift him a manor with a garden. Great Demon Lord, what is the meaning of this? Pu Luo looked at the Great Demon Lord. They had all detected Fentian's actions after he walked out of the mansion. Can you be any dumber? What he means is that this Night Moon Villa is under his protection. Whoever is not convinced can try attacking him. The Great Demon King said as he lay down on a lounge chair in the hall. It's not strange for Fentian to kill people. He has killed many people, but this is the first time he has protected someone, right? Yu Zhu also did not understand. He's too good at pretending. Are you sure Night Sorrow has nothing to do with this guy? Pu Luo also found a recliner to lean on and rocked back and forth. I was born in the Boundless region and then mingled in the Misty Dynasty. I didn't even know about the desolate Heaven City and the Divine Capital City. How can I have anything to do with Fentian? Night Sorrow said. Fentian said that this greeting gift is not his. How many people can order him around? Misty Meow, who had been silent all this while, said. The City Lord's mansion. If the Elders Guild wants to clean up any forces, they can order him around. If it's a person who wants to ask him to do something, not many people can do it. Not to mention his personal strength, his background is too strong, the Great Demon Lord said. Yeah. He is the only disciple of King Yawu. With this identity, who can order him around? Ruisi also muttered. King Yawu. Maybe after knowing that Night Sorrow is the virtuous emperor and that Night Sorrow punishes evil and promotes good, he gave Night Sorrow a luxurious place to stay. Yu Zhu, who was studying a jade sculpture in the hall, said. Sister. You think too much. We have never seen King Yawu before. This kind of thing can't attract his attention. Unless some big shot from the Demon Wing clan comes, he won't be interested in showing himself. Ruisi reached out and took the jade sculpture in Yu Zhu's hand. Then, with a move of his finger, the jade sculpture disappeared. Hurry up and spit it out. This is our territory. Are you trying to steal something? Pu Luo glared at Ruisi. Oh, it's a habit of mine to deal with those bastards a few days ago. Whenever I see something good, I want to take it. Ruisi looked at Night Sorrow embarrassedly. Take it if you like it. Night Sorrow waved his hand. Ruisi was embarrassed. He took out the jade sculpture, wiped it with his sleeve, and placed it back in its original position. Then they discussed and decided that Night Sorrow's mansion would be their base. There were no trustworthy servants, so Lin Piaomiao would make the arrangements. Pu Luo and the others drank tea and chatted. They had set a goal. They would go to Lu Donghui's territory later to cause trouble. Actually, they could do it now, but they were used to doing it when the moon was high and the wind was dark. Night Sorrow was deep in thought. He couldn't figure out what was going on. Lin Piaomiao came to Night Sorrow's side. Are you still thinking? Actually, there's no need to go through so much trouble. First, we can confirm that Fentian doesn't have any ill intentions. As for the favor, there will be a chance to return it. There are some developments that are no longer within my control. Originally, I just wanted to cultivate steadily and give the Chaos Realm a stable place. I wanted to slowly step into a higher realm. But now I'm walking step by step. I can't even imagine it. Perhaps one day I'll have to return to the 9 Domains world and lie there, said Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, don't think like that. This is the day of passion. If you go back, there won't be any fun. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Pu Luo, who was leaning on the recliner, sat up straight. That's right. If you want to get a wife and start a family, we'll help you arrange it, the Great Demon King said. Night Sorrow already has a few wives. Does he still need you to arrange it? Lin Piaomiao said stiffly. Then who are you? Yu Zhu asked curiously. Mind your own business first. Lin Piaomiao glared at Yu Zhu. In terms of status in the human race, Pu Luo was the highest. He was the enforcement clan elder. The others were clan elders, but their strength was about the same. No one talked about status because they didn't care about it. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao apologetically. Because of this, Lin Piaomiao was a little embarrassed. Night Sorrow knew about the relationship between the two. Lin Piaomiao and Sikong Chuyu could be said to have reached an agreement with the Yi family. It was just that it wasn't on the table yet. Lin Piaomiao was a clan elder of the human race. She was the number 1 on the celestial demon ranking, the Misty Battle Empress. Yu Zhu, this is what you don't understand. The world of love can't be measured by this, Pu Luo said. You sound like you understand. So what if you're the enforcement clan elder? Love isn't your field of expertise, Yu Zhu said. You're interrupting my thoughts. Night Sorrow, I've been thinking about the mansion. Who's the one behind it? Pu Luo said. You sound so serious. You sound like you know. Rui Si glanced at Pu Luo. In Tianhuang City, every enforcement clan elder had a few assistants. Xiao Jun's assistants were Gu Qi, Elder Ling Shu, and Bai Zongyuan. Rui Si and Yu Zhu were Pu Luo's assistants, so the 3 of them had a good relationship. Chapter 1768. Who are you talking about? If it was before, I would have tolerated it. But now we are all elders of the human race. Big Demon King stared at Pu Luo. Okay. You are not small fries anymore. Now let's talk about what you don't know. First of all, you don't know the relationship between Peerless Sword King and King Yewu. They are sworn brothers. If King Yewu recognizes Night Sorrow, then Night Sorrow will have to call him uncle or uncle. Pu Luo told them what he knew. In other words, murderous embryo Fentian should be Yi Shang's senior brother? Yu Zhu was astonished. That should be it. Otherwise, when has that guy ever been polite to others? He even gave him a mansion? But this mansion is so extravagant. It's even more extravagant than ours. If I knew this mansion was so extravagant, I would have killed Huang Shang earlier. Rui Si took a pen and drew a line on the name list in his arms, crossing out Huang Shang who was originally on it. So, Night Sorrow's backer in God's capital is very strong? Big Demon King looked at Night Sorrow as if he was looking at a rare animal. If King Yewu recognizes him, then he has a strong backer. But who is King Yewu? We are emperors, but if he wants to attack us, we have to run away. We might not even be able to do that. It's not easy to get his approval, Pu Luo said. Is the difference that big? Night Sorrow was confused. Big, very big. Every 10 billion years, an emperor's trial will happen. It's called the 9 trials of the heavenly path. Then, every 100 billion years, there will be an emperor's trial. According to the rules of the human race, those who pass the emperor's trial will become elders. Those who pass the emperor's trial will become law enforcement elders. Me and Lu Qi are exceptions. We are young and we haven't passed the emperor's trial, but we are strong enough to fight against an emperor's trial. Elder Lin and Big Demon King are elders, but they didn't pass the emperor's trial because they are strong. The Peerless Sword Emperor, the Great Patriarch and King Yewu are all from the same era. They have passed the 7 emperor tribulations. How can the gap between their strength and ours, who haven't even passed the first emperor tribulation, not be huge? 7 emperors trial, 7 epochs, 700 billion years? What does that mean? Then, there would be many experts in the tribulation of 6 emperors and 5 emperors. That's too deep. Night Sorrow. It's not like that. Currently, our human race doesn't have such a cultivator. 7 eras ago, when the human race was at its peak, there were several heaven-defying geniuses. They had always been the mainstay of the human race. After that, there were no more powerful geniuses. There were some who crossed the first sovereign tribulation but not many who crossed the second sovereign tribulation, and none who crossed the third sovereign tribulation. However, those geniuses defied the heavens and fought against the demon-winged clan. Senior Unparalleled Sword Emperor didn't pass the tribulation of the seventh emperor, not because he wasn't strong enough. According to the ancient records, he cultivated a heaven-defying battle technique to increase his strength. He was envied by the heavens and his body was destroyed. Pu Luo said in a low voice. He was the pride of the human race. Of course, he was also a sinner in the hearts of some ignorant people. After Yan Wushuang disappeared, the emperor's seal was also outside the human race. They wrote a glorious record for the human race. They are seniors worthy of respect. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea, raised it to the sky and poured it on the ground. Envied by the heavens? What's going on? Lin Piaomiao was puzzled. The law enforcement patriarch has some authority. He can read some ancient books. Actually, Peerless Sword King didn't pass the seventh emperor's trial. He touched the taboo of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao sent emperor realm experts. It's a god-destroying tribulation that only appears in one reincarnation. He actually had the strength to pass the ninth emperor's trial. Pu Luo said in a low voice. Then he's the strongest of the human race? The great demon king's eyes were full of light. How would I know that? But I do know that the guardian of the heavenly wasteland city is very strong. After he rose in the last tribulation of the human tribe, all the experts of the demon wing clan who came to invade, no matter what level they were at, were all defeated. Their clones were all killed. Pu Luo said. The city lord of the heavenly desolate city? Lin Piaomiao asked. Yes, the strongest of the human race. Even King Yewu would agree. Pu Luo nodded. Then I have a question. What is the level of Tran Hung, the author of the Celestial Demon List? What is his position in the human race? Night Sorrow asked the middle-aged man in a loose robe. I don't know. His position in the human race is very high. He doesn't communicate with others. Even the law enforcement patriarch has only seen him a few times. In fact, many people have guessed that Tran Hung is the city lord of the heavenly desolate city. The city lord of the heavenly desolate city has appeared a few times. I have seen him but he was just an energy clone. I couldn't see his real face. Pu Luo shook his head helplessly. This thing is too deep. We can't touch it yet. Yu Zhu said. We are indeed trash in front of them but we will go against the flow. They will create an era and the current era will be ours. Countless years later the future generations will talk about us like this. I, the great demon king, am undefeated. I will continue my legend of being undefeated. You, the great demon king, can do it. I, Lin Piaomiao, can do it too. Lin Piaomiao said. I, Night Sorrow, have never been defeated before. Then we will create a legend that belongs to us. Night Sorrow raised his right hand above his head and clenched it together. The few people present didn't know that this day would be the beginning of an epic. The future generations would call it the beginning of the gods' era. Invincibility began from this moment. It seems like we are short of people. Fentian appeared in the hall. Why are you here again? Great Demon King looked at Fentian and asked. Yishang, I came to find you because I wanted to tell you that if you have time, you can exchange your cultivation experiences with this commander. This commander has a peerless spear manual. Fentian looked at Yishang and said. What kind of spear art can be called peerless? You should forget about it. Great Demon King said. What do you know? Master is practicing the spear. Can his spear art be called peerless? You are above me on the divine demon list this time. I really want to see what level you are at. Fentian looked at Great Demon King, his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Come. I also want to see what kind of fighting strength the #1 killer of Divine Capital has. Great Demon King was a little angry. No one could provoke him and he had to submit to the provocation. Another day. Pu Luo said to mediate. On the latest chapter of PT. I am sorry I have the inheritance of the Sword Dao but it belongs to Master. I will not use Master's inheritance to make any transactions with others. Night Sorrow looked at Fentian and said. You will exchange it one day. Fentian looked at Night Sorrow and shook his head. At this moment his impression of Night Sorrow had improved once again. This was because he was determined and he was determined. You are very confident but I still insist. Night Sorrow looked at Fentian and smiled. Chapter 1769. Do you think it's a rotten brick that can be picked up anywhere? Pu Luo glanced at Fentian and said. Deep enmity? There's no need for that. If you want to hit the brick, wouldn't it be good to have one more person? Are you more familiar with the divine capital city than me? Is your information more comprehensive than mine? Fentian said. Your master is the city lord. If you follow us and mess around, won't Senior Yawu clean up the house? The great demon king asked. This commander's master said that I can do whatever I want, even if it's wrong. If it's really wrong, he will bear it with me. This commander's master is not as shallow as you think. Fentian glanced at the great demon lord and said, Fentian, actually, don't ask us. The core of our team is him. Our divine tools, without Night Sorrow's help, are actually just rotten bricks. Pu Luo said to Fentian. How about this? We can't be careless about this matter. Let us think about it and give you an answer in a few days. Also, I want to ask, is this mansion the intention of Senior Yawu? Night Sorrow looked at Fentian and asked. You guessed it, so be it. Fentian left. He did not want to talk about it anymore, mainly because he did not want to talk about Guanyu Yawu. After Fentian left, Night Sorrow and the others drank a jar of wine and set off. They went to Lu Donghui's territory and went straight to Lu Donghui's mansion. This time, it was different from the time in the Heaven Wasteland City. In the Heaven Wasteland City, they had to consider the interference of the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders. They had to end the battle quickly and not let the situation escalate. However, in the Divine Capital City, whoever had the ability could fight. Of course, if you relied on your cultivation to commit crimes and bully people, and were complained to the City Lord's mansion, then you would be dead. Night Sorrow and the others touched Lu Donghui's mansion. At this time, Lu Donghui was drinking and throwing a tantrum. He had lost a lot of face this time, and he would not dare to go to the Heaven Wasteland City in the future. If he dared to go, Night Sorrow and the others would really teach him a lesson, and he would continue to be slapped in the face. Although Lu Donghui was angry, there was nothing he could do. Among the 6 of them, he was the only one who could defeat Night Sorrow. So what if he could defeat Night Sorrow? Pu Luo, the Great Devil King, and the other 5 people obviously had Night Sorrow as their core. The first time the brick hit someone was when Night Sorrow hit Li Zongyuan's 2 disciples. While Lu Donghui was drinking and cursing, Pu Luo and the others rushed into the hall of Lu Donghui's mansion from all directions. Then their domains erupted, suppressing Lu Donghui. After Night Sorrow released his domain, he used Void Step to appear above Lu Donghui. When Pu Luo, Great Demon King, and Lin Piaomiao's bricks hit him, he came down from above. The human emperor's seal directly hit Lu Donghui's head, causing Lu Donghui to fall to the ground. This caused Ruixi and Yu Zhu's bricks to miss. The Great Demon King went to take Lu Donghui's storage ring, Pu Luo went to take Lu Donghui's armor, and Lin Piaomiao took everything valuable in the mansion. Soon everything was done. The brick hitting was completed. Let's go. Pu Luo shouted. Before leaving, Yu Zhu bent down and gave Lu Donghui a smack on the face. Then she followed Night Sorrow and the others back to the Night Moon Mansion. It's another exciting moment. Let's split the loot. Pu Luo smiled and handed the storage ring to Night Sorrow. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao also handed the loot to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, I have a few words to say. The Great Demon King said. Go ahead. Night Sorrow didn't know what the Great Demon King wanted to say. Let's conclude first. You, an emperor, can hit someone with a brick. What about the other 2? Emperor? Patriarch? Patriarch of the human race? Just watch like idiots. Cut it in half. The resources must be cut in half to stimulate their motivation. The Great Demon King pointed at Ruixi and Yu Zhu. You guys are so fast. Where can you find the brick? Ruixi was speechless. Lu Donghui's head was only so big. If Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, Lin Piaomiao, and Night Sorrow were to hit him, there would be no place for him. Fast hands get nothing. Don't you know this? You lack a positive attitude. The Great Demon King said. I agree with you, but you can't cut mine in half. The resources don't matter, but this is about face. Didn't I hit him? I was afraid that he would wake up, so I hit him with a brick. Yu Zhu said. That makes sense. Your brick was quite ruthless. The Great Demon King nodded. Hey, Ruixi, your attitude isn't positive enough. I support you to cut it in half. Pu Luo smiled. You guys are ruthless. I admit it. I didn't hit him. Ruixi lowered his head and rubbed his eyes. You go first. I'm just kidding. Let's split it evenly. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Since you're aware of this, let's continue to split it evenly. The Great Demon King nodded. He didn't really want to make things difficult for Ruixi. He just felt that Ruixi couldn't keep up with the pace and wanted to encourage him. After all, Ruixi wasn't used to this kind of thing. Really? Then I'll hit the brick twice next time. I won't fall behind you. Ruixi smiled. He didn't care about the resources, but it would be awkward if he didn't get a share. Soon, the resources were transferred to their storage rings. Everyone, I'll make a statement here. I won't let go of my responsibility next time. Wuxia looked at Night Sorrow and the others seriously. Yes, it's good that you have this attitude. We're trying to change the culture of the celestial realm. If the humans are better internally, then they'll have more fighting power. Pu Luo looked at Wuxia and said. Wuxia nodded. He trusted Pu Luo the most. Night Sorrow, what do you think about Fentian? Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow. Fentian is very straightforward. There's no evil in his eyes, but I don't know much about other things. Night Sorrow said. Great Demon King, what do you think? Pu Luo looked at the Great Demon King. I think it's okay. It'll hurt his face to reject him directly. Besides, there are a lot of scums in the divine capital. It's the same in other cities. Looking at the big picture, the humans need to punish those who say good things. It's okay to have more people. We can divide the work differently in the future so that people like Wuxia can't get it. The Great Demon King said. I think what the Great Demon King said makes sense. Besides, I'm sure that Fentian isn't an evil person. Night Sorrow said. How can you be sure? Yu Zhu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'll be disgusted if people with bad morals get close to me. If they're despicable, I might want to kill them. Night Sorrow said. At Yowu Mountain, Fentian was reporting to King Yowu about Night Sorrow. He already knew about Lu Donghue's incident. You think he's not bad? King Yowu asked. Master, he's not bad. He's young and full of heroic spirit. Moreover, he has the aura of a leader. He's the core of a team of 5 emperors including Pu Luo, Fentian said. It seems like your master's junior was right. King Yowu nodded. Chapter 1770. That's normal. You know that he's your martial uncle's disciple, but he doesn't know your identity. How could he exchange insights with you? I'll talk to him after a while. A smile appeared on King Yowu's face. He was also gratified. The unparalleled Sword Emperor had never taken in a disciple in his life. It was a good thing that someone had accepted the inheritance. He knew what level the unparalleled Sword Emperor had reached in the past. Disciple understands. Fentian nodded. He's your junior brother. You can get closer to him. There can only be one Merit Emperor in a reincarnation, and he's the only one in this reincarnation. In this regard, so what if he's an almighty human? Even the cultivators of the tribulation of the 7 emperors can't compare to him, not to mention that he still has the human emperor's seal. Those who gather around him will all have luck on their bodies. King Yowu said. Disciple understands what master means. Fentian understood what King Yowu meant. He hoped that he could get closer to Night Sorrow. Alright, go. I have something to do recently. I'll go see him later. King Yowu instructed Fentian. Fentian left. He understood a little more, so he needed to digest it. Pu Luo began to refine the brick again. He hoped that this golden brick could bring out a new atmosphere and civilization of the human clan, so he was especially serious and pious. After refining it, he manually engraved the Tao Te Ching. Actually, Pu Luo could have refined the Tao Te Ching on the golden brick when he was refining it, but he did not do so. After Pu Luo finished refining the brick, the few of them moved again. They also slapped the seal that had run to the divine capital. What made everyone's eyes pop out was that Wuxia had changed his strategy. With so many people, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to snatch it, so he directly threw the golden brick out. The brick even had the tendons of a demon beast on it, turning it into a flying brick. The seal was more unlucky because it was Wuxia's first time throwing a brick. He did not control his strength well. When he was knocked unconscious by the Great Demon King's brick and had no defensive ability, Wuxia's brick directly smashed his head open and smashed it. With his head smashed, the seal could still escape with his divine infant. This clone had fallen. The Great Demon King, Pu Luo, Night Sorrow and the others dodged quickly. Otherwise, the red and white splashed all over their bodies. Do you know how to play? You won't get any of the resources this time. Without waiting for the Demon King and Night Sorrow to speak, Pu Luo roared. His full strength was not enough to smash the brick, and he had to retreat quickly. I'll just smash you to death with a brick. When have we ever injected energy into someone? The Great Demon King roared at Reese. They packed up their spoils of war and returned to Night Sorrow's mansion. Night Sorrow, aren't you going to say something? Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow. Reese made a mistake this time, so don't blame him. However, we're doing this to establish a culture and to save people. There's no need to kill people, nor is it appropriate, Night Sorrow said. It's my fault this time. I was too excited. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to hit it, so I poured my energy into it, Ruiz said. Let's not talk about it this time, Night Sorrow said. You missed and killed him? At this time, Fentian appeared in the Night Moon Villa. I did miss, but I don't need you to laugh at me. Reese's anger rose. He was already a little annoyed, so when he heard Fentian's words, he was a little angry. Why are you so angry? Just don't miss next time. Fentian found a seat and sat down. Reese, it's nothing. That Ban is not a good person. So what if he's dead? It's just a clone anyway, Night Sorrow said to Reese. Reese nodded at Night Sorrow. He did feel a little guilty. We can't be too hasty. We have to slow down the pace. This way we can pressure people with bad morals to change themselves. If we can influence their behavior, our goal will be achieved. Also, I need time to cultivate, Night Sorrow said. That's right. If the culture is established, it will be a great service to the human race. If we really want to smash them one by one, we won't be able to do it. Puluo supported Night Sorrow's opinion. Where's my guy? Fentian looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow took out the brick refined by Puluo and threw it to Fentian. He had already helped to inject the human emperor chi into it. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow went to a pavilion and began to study artifact refining. He wanted to change the time acceleration of the 8-Dragon Cauldron. After Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute entered the 2-star Emperor realm, his understanding of spacetime deepened, so he was able to evolve the 8-Dragon Cauldron again. It took Night Sorrow 6 days to complete the evolution of the array inside the 8-Dragon Cauldron, and the time acceleration reached 24 times. While drinking tea, Puluo asked about Night Sorrow's refining situation. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything and told him about the situation of the 8-Dragon Cauldron. Very good. Your level is considered to be in the upper echelons of the Monarch-level Royal Masters. You're already close to the Emperor-level Royal Masters. The spatial magic treasure refined by Emperor-level Royal Masters is only 30 or so times, not 40 times. Puluo said. He was an Emperor-level Royal Master. The team's bricks were refined by him. Then won't you help Night Sorrow refine it? Yuzhu said. I really can't do that. His thing has an artifact spirit. Only the master can refine it while communicating with the artifact spirit. If I refine it, I can increase the time acceleration, but it will hurt the artifact spirit. That's not worth it, Puluo said. So that's how it is. 20 times is a bit too little, Yuzhu said. My true body has a high-grade time acceleration magic treasure. My doppelganger has over 20 times the speed. That should be enough. My cauldron is right here. While I'm inside, if there's any movement, you can shake the cauldron and I'll come out. Let's start the auction together. Night Sorrow placed the 8-Dragon Cauldron outside the building. Night Sorrow planned to raise his main body's level, and his clone's combat power. He planned to find time to study the spear manual given to him by the Grand Elder. As for Yan Wushuang's inheritance, he planned to put it aside for now. Once his spear level was high enough, it would be much easier to learn other techniques. Okay. You're different from us. Our room for improvement is limited, but you're in a period of rapid improvement. Puluo nodded. That's you guys. I'm using the Ash God Stone to cultivate. My level and strength have a lot of room for improvement, the Great Demon King said. Forever 2 free reading 1 little N says B, you're awesome. Go for the Emperor's trial, go for the Emperor's trial, Yuzhu said. I will. Don't worry. Don't be jealous when the time comes. The Great Demon King laughed. The Emperor's trial and Emperor's trial came according to time. If one's strength and level were high enough, the heavenly trial would also come. If one's strength exceeded that of the 9 Emperor's trial, then the god-destroying trial that Yan Wushuang went through would come. Chapter 1771. 4y6g equals head, d hair, g, so that's how it is. I thought I wouldn't be able to reach that level if I wasn't old enough. So it's possible. Night Sorrow said. The tribulation of the Emperor realm is terrifying. The probability of death is 80 to 90%. That's why almost no one initiates the tribulation. Let's put it this way, Sect Elder Lin and Great Demon King can trigger the tribulation with all their strength. But there's no need for that. They're still young and have enough time to accumulate. I can trigger the tribulation too. I can even trigger the Emperor tribulation. But I can still accumulate. So I won't trigger it. Puluo explained to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded to Puluo. He felt that after getting to know Puluo and Great Demon King, he had gained a lot of insight. When things are more or less settled, I'll try to trigger the Emperor tribulation, Lin Piaomiao said. You're already at this level? Ruisi looked at Lin Piaomiao and Great Demon King in surprise. Sect Elder Lin, Great Demon King, don't let loyalty get the better of you. That Wu Dongtian was so talented. Why did he fall? It's already impressive that he passed the 5 heavenly tribulations in one go. He could have slowly accumulated his strength. But he insisted on charging forward. In the end he fell under the tribulation. Pu Luo said. Pu Luo, do you know that Commander Lin and I are obviously stronger than those sect elders? But we still have to listen to their orders. What? Because we haven't passed the Emperor tribulation. We lack experience. Last time we knew that our strategy was wrong. But we still charged forward. We had to carry out the sect elders' orders. All these years we've been holding back. Great Demon King said. Yes. If you want to contribute to the human race, you have to have the right status. I've been thinking the same thing all these years. Actually, I'm already confident about the 9 heavenly tribulations. I just haven't tried. Lin Piaomiao looked at Great Demon King. His words made her feel the same way. You two are personally recommended by the City Lord. You're also valued by the Grand Elder. Don't mess around. Pu Luo said to Lin Piaomiao and Great Demon King. I won't. Although I'm confident, I still want to wait. I want to see Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow. We'll talk about it later. Night Sorrow understood what Lin Piaomiao meant. Everyone chatted for a while and then dispersed. Everyone had their own loft in the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were in a loft. The two of them brewed a pot of tea and sat opposite each other. Big Sister Xianhe, don't rashly trigger the heavenly tribulation. Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with worry. In the past, I had already grasped it and planned to steadily break through, but you appeared and I had room for improvement and even obtained the heavenly blue wings. After obtaining the heavenly blue wings, I planned to familiarize myself with it before triggering the heavenly tribulation. However, my Tao heart began to waver. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and said. Then find a suitable time to inform my parents and inform my friends and family. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and said. There were some things that he didn't say but he understood. You've decided to marry me? Lin Piaomiao's emotions began to fluctuate. Night Sorrow nodded seriously. He knew that this matter was very important to Lin Piaomiao. Okay. If I succeed, I will definitely marry you. Lin Piaomiao's face shone brightly. What? Night Sorrow didn't understand. You just said that you want to marry me. I have the Tao heart, but marrying you is only suitable after the heavenly tribulation. If we aren't fated enough and fail the heavenly tribulation after we get married, that would be harming you. Lin Piaomiao said. The light on her face was the light of her Tao heart. No need. You are the peerless empress of the celestial realm. You can definitely do what you want. Tomorrow we will return to the 9 regions world. Night Sorrow shook his head and made his decision. What are you doing? Why are you in such a hurry? To an Emperor Realm cultivator, thousands of years are just a matter of an instant. There are some who can meditate for tens of thousands of years or even millions of years. You should cultivate first. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and smiled. The light on her face grew brighter and brighter. Then can you promise me that you won't attempt the heavenly tribulation? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and said. Okay, I promise you. Lin Piaomiao smiled and said. Nodding to Lin Piaomiao, Night Sorrow took out the Grand Elder's Spear Art book and started to study it. Spear, the king of weapons. The user must have the aura of a king. This was the general principle of spear arts. Grand Elder's Spear Art was the mixed element spear art. The foundation of spear arts was the basic spear art. When the basic spear art was cultivated to perfection, it could drive energy, the will of heaven and earth and the power of the heavenly Tao. When the basic spear art was cultivated to perfection, it could merge with one's will and domain. At that time, every move and style would have boundless power. After studying the spear art, Night Sorrow held the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and started to cultivate his spear art. Stab, chop, lift and slash were all basic techniques. In the past, Night Sorrow had the habit of cultivating the basic spear art every day. Therefore, the foundation of the basic spear art was very deep. Every move and style of the basic spear art was connected very skillfully. His goal was to cultivate the basic spear art to the point where there was no distinction between moves. After cultivating for 2 hours, Night Sorrow returned to the loft. Night Sorrow, what are you cultivating? The basic spear art? Lin Piaomiao, who was puzzled, asked. Yes, it is the foundation of the Grand Elder's mixed element spear art. The concept is very good. I have never thought of it before. Night Sorrow said. No wonder when you were cultivating just now I felt a familiar feeling. There was a shadow of the battle between the Grand Elder and the Demon-Winged clan. You are cultivating the Grand Elder's spear art? Lin Piaomiao suddenly realized and looked at Night Sorrow in astonishment. Yes, before coming to Sky City I went to see the 7th Elder. The Grand Elder gave me his spear art book. Night Sorrow nodded. This is too rare. You must know that after several eras the Grand Elder has never accepted a disciple. No one could inherit his spear art. I didn't expect him to pass it on to you. It's no wonder. You are a spear artist and have a high aptitude. The Grand Elder cherishes talent, so he made this decision. Lin Piaomiao said. I know a little about the mixed element spear art, but I still need time to master it. Night Sorrow said. How is your original body? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I am in a state of epiphany. The effects of the Destruction Origin Stone and Ash Divine Stone are very strong. The will of heaven and earth is very strong. After awakening, the destruction attribute should be able to enter the 2-star Emperor realm. The other attributes are also rapidly advancing. Sister Xian'er, you have the Void attribute. The Great Demon King gave me 2 Void Origin Stones. Use them first. Night Sorrow took out the Void Origin Stones from his storage ring. This was given to him by the Great Demon King after he came from the Ethereal Dynasty. Therefore it had always been in the storage ring of his clone. No need. I have used many Void Origin Stones. There will be no effect if I use more. You are different. If you use them your realm will rise faster. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. Sister Xian'er, what is the matter with the 100 Race Alliance's first vanguard? The Grand Elder asked me to return to Tianhuang City in 5 years to participate in the selection of the 100 Race Alliance's first vanguard. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1772. Hair, what opportunity? Night Sorrow asked. The opportunity to enter the Heaven Wasteland Tower. Only the first vanguard and first commander of the 100 Races Alliance have the qualification. However, after entering, everyone's opportunity is different, Lin Piaomiao said. What's the Heaven Wasteland Tower? Night Sorrow did not quite understand. It's the first tower in the Heaven Wasteland City. I don't know the details. Anyway, if you can get this opportunity, you should ask Pu Luo for the details. He definitely knows more than me, Lin Piaomiao said. After chatting with Lin Piaomiao for a while, Night Sorrow entered the 8-Dragon Cauldron to practice his spear. If a cultivator wanted to achieve something, talent, hard work and time were all inseparable. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate the Grand Elder's Mixed Yuan spear art. First, he had to cultivate the basic spear art to the Mixed Yuan Heavenly Realm before he was qualified to proceed to the next step. Night Sorrow went to cultivate while Pu Luo and the others continued to perfect the information and collect information on the scums. Ruici divided the scums into different levels. One was to kill and the other was to educate. Fentian would come to Night Moon Villa every day. He had the Divine Capital City Guards under his command, so naturally he had scouts and intelligence personnel. Therefore it was not a problem for him to help Ruici organize the information. What made him puzzled was that he had not seen Night Sorrow. After asking, he found out that Night Sorrow had already started cultivating. Fentian had King Yewu's spear art book. If possible, he did not mind communicating with Night Sorrow. It was not a problem for him to give some advice to Night Sorrow. However, he could not see Night Sorrow at the moment. As for the inheritance sword art of the unparalleled Sword Emperor, Yan Wushuang, Fentian was looking forward to it. However, he did not force it. He also understood that without King Yewu, Night Sorrow would not tell him anything. Night Sorrow had more than one doppelganger cultivating inside the 8-Dragon Cauldron. His doppelganger in 9-Domain World had also begun cultivating his spear techniques. Even the Clear Sky Pagoda's secondary body, which was originally in Sky City, had been sent to the vicinity of the Heaven Sealing Temple for the sake of accelerating time. The Medicine Valley had been affected recently because the divine artifact, the 8-Dragon Cauldron, had undergone some changes. This was the strongest change the 8-Dragon Cauldron had undergone in recent years. The light completely enveloped Danding Cliff. Danding Cliff was no longer the Danding Cliff of the past. Under the influence of the 8-Dragon Cauldron, Danding Cliff continued to rise. Now its peak was in the clouds. In the past, Venerables were not allowed to climb Pill Tripod Cliff as they would be directly suppressed by the 8-Dragon Tripod. Following the evolution of the 8-Dragon Tripod, the rules had changed. Saints, Saint Kings and even the King could cultivate at Danding Cliff, but they could not climb to the top of Danding Cliff and get close to the region where the 8-Dragon Cauldron was. Everyone could cultivate by relying on the pressure. This was the power of an emperor weapon. The Medicine Valley was the #1 sect in the 9 domains world, and the 8-Dragon Cauldron was a legend. Some people said that the 8-Dragon Cauldron would kill anyone who dared to come to the Medicine Valley with killing intent, even the king. Nangong Dai, Ning Cheng, and Su Feng stood at the bottom of Danding Cliff and looked up at Danding Peak. Is this still the 8-Dragon Cauldron of the past? Nangong Dai's eyes were a little confused and puzzled. She was ranked first in the batch of 13 people who had entered the sect, but she had not seen Night Sorrow for many years. Eldest senior sister, Grand Exalted Knight, has become an emperor. He is an armorer himself, so naturally his protective treasures would continue to evolve. The 8-Dragon Cauldron of the past was only a spirit artifact. Treasures of this level are everywhere in the 9 domains world. The only difference is that the 8-Dragon Cauldron is in Grand Exalted Knight's hands, Ning Cheng said. Second Ning, what is he doing now? Is he still working hard on his cultivation? Nangong Dai turned to look at Ning Cheng. Back then Ning Cheng was ranked second. Although we can't see his hard work, we can imagine it. Lin Jingyi came to Danding Cliff. She was a frequent visitor there and spent half a year cultivating there. She could even be said to be the strongest person in the Medicine Valley of the 9 domains world. Uncle Master, didn't you go to the Celestial Realm to see how Grand Exalted Knight is doing? Su Feng asked. Is there a need to go? I reckon he is already famous in the Celestial Realm. We don't understand his world. Lin Jingyi shook her head. Dai Ning Cheng, don't doubt his hard work. The 9 domains world is where it is today because of his hard work and struggle. Gong Xian appeared, along with Huanan and the others. The evolution of the 8-Dragon Cauldron had caused a commotion in the Medicine Valley, so everyone who had been in seclusion came out. Master, if you have time, take us to see Grand Exalted Knight. Doesn't he have a clone in the 9 domains world? Nangong Dai looked at her master, Huanan. It's not just us. Even the Yi family doesn't see him much. He spends most of his time in seclusion. Perhaps he will only stop when he is invincible, Huanan said. Isn't Grand Exalted Knight already invincible? Why is he working so hard? Su Feng didn't understand. You know nothing. You know about the Chaos Realm, but what about the Celestial Realm? There are many emperors and emperors. Without strength, how can the Chaos Realm and the 9 domains world be stable? Shi Tianlin scolded. Su Feng didn't dare to say anything. He was an elder of the Taishan Peak in the Medicine Valley, but the 13 people from the Taishan Peak in the Medicine Valley were still alive. Every one of them could scold him at will. Eldest senior brother, more and more people from other worlds in the Chaos Realm are coming to the 9 domains world to develop. Many people want to enter the Medicine Valley. Do we accept them? Chu Lingxiao, who had rushed over and stood for a while, asked. At present, he was more in charge of the Medicine Valley's affairs. We have to keep up with the situation. 13 is the domain lord of the 9 domains world. The Medicine Valley can't exclude him. However, there are too many people who want to enter the sect every year. In the future, the disciple recruitment ceremony will be extended to once every 10 years. In addition, the 8-Dragon Cauldron is getting stronger and can help more people cultivate. We will open up the qualifications and double the quota for the Saint Hall. Gong Xian made some decisions. Eldest senior brother, let's go to the city in the sky. 13 might be there. I miss him, Shi Tianlin said. Then let's go and take a look. Gong Xian nodded with a smile. This was what he was most gratified about. No matter how much time had passed, the relationship between his 12 junior brothers and sisters remained the same. When they arrived at the city in the sky, they naturally couldn't see Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow was working hard to cultivate his spear technique. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye 2 years had passed. Other than the brick-throwing operation, Night Sorrow had been cultivating his spear technique. The mixed element spear technique had gradually taken shape. In the space treasure, the power of his spear technique was average. However, when he displayed it in the real world, even the basic spear technique could drive the laws of heaven and earth, the will of heaven and earth, and the momentum of heaven and earth. Night Sorrow's original body was still meditating. This was already the 3rd year of meditation. Night Sorrow felt that his original body was about to wake up, but he couldn't predict what realm he would be in when he woke up. When Night Sorrow put away his spear, the great demon king came to Night Sorrow's side. Night Sorrow, do you have any good wine? Prepare a jar. If I don't die, you have to celebrate for me. You? Night Sorrow's eyes were full of shock. Chapter 1773. Have you decided? Night Sorrow asked the great demon king. I've decided. If I want to be lawless, if I want to have a complete self, if I want to do what I want without others telling me what to do, then the heavenly tribulation must be triggered. The great demon king's eyes were filled with determination. Then I'll be waiting to celebrate with you. Night Sorrow took out a few jars of wine and placed them on the table in front of him. I'm also waiting to celebrate with you. Lin Piao appeared as well. Alright, I'll feel the way first. Then I'll tell you what I feel, the great demon king said to Lin Piao. As a cultivator on the god demon list, the big demon king admired Lin Piao. It wasn't easy for a woman to reach such heights. Pu Luo and the others had arrived, and so had Fen Tian. Since you're all here, just you wait. Fen Tian, you can be considered the host. Prepare a banquet. After the great demon king finished speaking, he left. His true body was going through tribulation, so his clone could not be disturbed. It was most suitable for him to meditate inside a spatial magic treasure. That bastard is too competitive. After this heavenly tribulation, none of the human elders will waste their breath on him again. Pu Luo said. He and the great demon king had never been friends before, but they had fought together. He admired the great demon king very much. You didn't say anything to him? Reese looked at Pu Luo. Most, New G chapter F super P equals, shut up, who am I talking nonsense with? It's true that I'm the law enforcing elder, but what have I ever done? If you have the time, why don't you take a nap and do something else? Do your own thing and don't ask about other people's rights and wrongs. That's my principle. Of course, smashing bricks now is not bad. Pu Luo glared at Reese. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piao and grabbed her hand. He knew that Lin Piao was feeling emotional right now because she missed him too. If there was no news, everyone would just wait because the tribulation wasn't something that could be done in a short period of time. No news was the best news. If the great demon king didn't come out, no one would know what was going on. 1 day, 2 days, half a month passed. Everyone was extremely worried. On the 18th day, the great demon king finally appeared. His condition wasn't very good, but his eyes were full of vigor. Congratulations. Night Sorrow and the others stood up. Pu Luo, who is that person you mentioned the other day? That's right, that Wu Dongtian is awesome. He passed 5 heavenly tribulations in one go, but I, the great demon king, passed 6 heavenly tribulations in one go today. Originally, I could still continue, but I don't think it's necessary to risk my life. If I don't improve when there's room for improvement, then I'm a fool. The great demon king laughed loudly. Are you crazy? Pu Luo cursed because no one had ever done such a thing before. Wu Dongtian was the only one who had died. Don't talk about anything else. Fen Tian, what kind of banquet is this? Can this be eaten? The great demon king pointed at the table in front of them. You prepared it 3 days after you went into seclusion. Today is the 18th day. Have you ever seen a banquet that can last for half a month? Fen Tian said somewhat angrily. That's true. It's not your fault. Hurry up and change. The great demon king found a seat and sat down. Night Sorrow smiled and called for the servants to go to the banquet. He opened a jar of wine. Night Sorrow, the Ash God Stone is really good stuff. I'm indebted to you this time, so I owe you a favor. Within 100 years, I'll definitely reach the Emperor Tribulation. The great demon king said to Night Sorrow. You're crazy. Yuzhu said. If you don't go crazy, you won't live. If you live, you have to live with vigor. The great demon king punched the air. Everyone was happy for the great demon king. They had been friends for a few years. Commander Lin, don't be like this guy. He's crazy, but you're not. Pu Luo looked at Lin Piao and said. Actually, I don't think there's a problem with Commander Lin. Because of your foundation, whether it's void or destruction, it suppresses other elements. I suggest you give it a try, but don't force it. The 4th and 5th tribulations aren't difficult, but the 6th tribulations are terrifying. That's why I didn't touch the 7th tribulations. The great demon king said to Lin Piao. Thank you for your advice. I'm really happy for you. Lin Piao poured a cup of wine for the great demon king. Everyone was happy. They drank for the whole night before the banquet ended. Night Sorrow continued to practice his spear every day. His mixed element spear art had a solid foundation. When he waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear, he could move the will of heaven and earth. On this day, Night Sorrow was called over by Pu Luo to discuss the plan. However, Night Sorrow wasn't too happy to see the great demon king. Just as Night Sorrow was about to ask, Lu Qi came. The great demon king turned his head to the side. What's wrong? Your main body is hiding, but your doppelganger isn't going to see anyone? Lu Qi smiled and sat down. Elder 7, what happened? Night Sorrow asked. He went to fight with Elder Yukuan. Won't it be over if he won? He just had to fight to the death. Then the Grand Elder yelled at him. Wuxia said with a smile. He made a mistake in his battle strategy last time. I already said no, but he used his identity as the Elder. What happened in the end? If it weren't for Pu Luo's timely help, Commander Lin and I would have been dead. Ask Commander Lin if it's true? Just say that it was a mistake and it's over? Who will take responsibility for the deaths of my subordinates? The great Demon King slammed the table and roared. This was a mistake in his battle strategy. He didn't do it on purpose. You didn't mention it for so many years. So you've been holding it in all this time? Wuxia said to the great Demon King. That's right. My subordinates can't die in vain. The main culprit is the Demon Wing clan, and the second is that old bastard Yukuan. This time the Grand Elder protected him. Otherwise I would have killed him. And that heaven's fate. He abandoned me and Commander Lin last time. I'll kill him too. The great Demon King cursed. Hearing the great Demon King's curses, Knight Sorrow had a rough idea of what had happened. The great Demon King must have been tricked during a war. He hadn't acted up all these years, but now he acted up. However, it seemed like he didn't succeed. Great Demon King, I promise to give you an explanation. However, I need time. Is that okay? Don't say anything about leaving Tianhuang City? Wuxia asked the great Demon King. Great Demon King, the 7 sect elders have already said so. Please calm down. No matter what others do, the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders have always worked hard for the human race. We have to give them face. Pu Luo persuaded the great Demon King. All right. Since the 7 sect elders have said so, I won't leave Tianhuang City. The great Demon King turned his head and said. Wuxia chuckled. You didn't even say anything about transcending the Emperor Tribulation. If you didn't go and slash people, no one would know. Let me congratulate you. It's just passing the 6 heavenly tribulations. It's no big deal. The great Demon King sat up straight. Chapter 1774. Ah, you have the right to show off. You do have the right. When I get back, I'll leave a good mark on the ancestral records for you. Wuxia said. Thank you. The great Demon King clasped his fists at Wuxia, but he turned his head to the other side. In Wuxia's words, he did have the right to show off. After Wuxia left, everyone sat together. The great Demon King told everyone in detail what had happened. After transcending the tribulation, the great Devil King stabilized his cultivation base and returned to Heavenly Desolation City. Back in Heavenly Desolation City, he killed his way to Heavenly Desolation Elder Yukuan's residence and started fighting in the tower. Later on, when he had injured Yukuan and was about to kill him, the great elder appeared and stopped him. Lin Piaomiao, why aren't you saying anything? I wasn't the only one who was scammed back then, right? The great Demon King looked at Lin Piaomiao. I thought you were the first to take care of heaven's fate. But you were the first to take care of Yukuan as well. What should I say? Lin Piaomiao said. You remember it too? The great Demon King looked at Lin Piaomiao in surprise. Of course. Back then, my Misty Dynasty lost half an army. Lin Piaomiao nodded. Great Demon King, you can do it. Yukuan's strength is only lower than the 7th Elder. If you can kill him, no one will dare to mess with you in the future. Pu Luo said. Great Demon King, why didn't you say we were going to take care of Yukuan when we were at Tianhuang City? Knight Sorrow asked, puzzled. Didn't you hear what Pu Luo said? That guy's strength is only lower than the Grand Elder and the 7th Elder. He's not someone that Trash Li Zongyuan can compare to. If we were to take care of him, there's no chance of success. The great Demon King said. But that's a good thing. You can only prove your strength with a battle. If you follow the Grand Elder, no one will gossip. Pu Luo said. Pu Luo, you know a lot of things. Why would you ask me to follow the Grand Elder? The great Demon King asked. Because the Grand Elder and the 7 Patriarchs are going to continue to break through the Emperor's tribulation. They need to make some arrangements. You and Commander Lin have the best potential and qualifications. You're a man, so you can take on more responsibilities. That's why you should follow the Grand Elder. This is also the City Lord's intention, said Pu Luo. The great Demon King understood because the Grand Elder and the 7 Elders were preparing for the unexpected. After chatting for a while, everyone set off to continue their trip. After smashing the black brick once, Knight Sorrow entered the 8-Dragon Cauldron and continued to cultivate his spear arts. At this time, he was fusing the profound meaning of his previous spear arts into his heart's spear arts. Every move he made was an absolute art. At this moment, a glass pagoda appeared beside Knight Sorrow's 8-Dragon Cauldron. That was Lin Piaomiao's spatial treasure. After cultivating for a few days, Night Sorrow saw the glass pagoda when he came out of seclusion. Instantly, his eyes were filled with shock and worry. He understood what was going on. Pu Luo and the others were also drinking tea and waiting in the loft where he was resting. How long has this been here? Night Sorrow pointed at the glass pagoda. Half a month. Pu Luo could see the worry in Night Sorrow's eyes. This situation was because Lin Piaomiao's doppelganger had entered the spatial treasure while the original body went through the tribulation. The doppelganger couldn't be affected. As for the safety of the doppelganger, Lin Piaomiao trusted this small group of people just like the Great Demon King. Half a month. Why is it so long? Night Sorrow was a little anxious because the Great Demon King had only been here for half a month. This woman must be crazily trying to break through. I think the 6th tribulation should be fine. But the 7th tribulation shouldn't be a problem. If she encounters the 7th tribulation, she'll be in danger, said the Great Demon King. After waiting for another 2 days, Lin Piaomiao appeared. However, she wasn't as tired as the Great Demon King. Your condition is not bad. The Great Demon King sized up Lin Piaomiao and said, after the tribulation, my condition isn't as good as yours. But I've recovered for close to a month in the time acceleration treasure. Lin Piaomiao smiled. 6th tribulation as well? Pu Luo asked. Lin Piaomiao nodded. After the 6th tribulation she was in a bad condition. She had a feeling that she wouldn't be able to pass the 7th tribulation. And she stopped. You guys are not giving the other people on the God and Demon leaderboard a chance to make a comeback. You guys are suppressing them. Pu Luo said. Great Demon King, after the tribulation, my condition isn't as good as yours. The number 1 spot on the God and Demon leaderboard is yours. Lin Piaomiao said. What do you mean by that? If it was in the past, I would have challenged you to a battle to see who's number 1. But now can I? No matter what, if I want to try, they'll probably fall out with me. Forget it. The Great Demon King said. Sister Xian'er, have you forgotten? You promised me. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao. There was dissatisfaction in his tone, but his eyes were filled with joy. I hope that after I succeed I'll feel at ease. Then we can talk about our matters. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow apologetically. What's the matter between you two? Yu Zhu asked with a smile. Night Sorrow said he wants to marry me. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and repeated Night Sorrow's words. What are you talking about? Are you talking about him marrying you? That's not up to you. You have to marry him. Yu Zhu looked at Lin Piaomiao with a smile. She wanted to see how Lin Piaomiao would respond. Why not? Lin Piaomiao asked back. Just as everyone was waiting for Night Sorrow to express his opinion, the aura on Night Sorrow's body changed. The gray energy around him rumbled. Then it changed to purple energy. Then it changed to black energy. Withdraw. Night Sorrow said softly. Following Night Sorrow's words, the leakless true body activated. His aura stabilized. 3-star Emperor. Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute had entered the level of a 3-star Emperor. He hadn't even entered the level of a new 3-star Emperor. His control of the momentum of heaven and earth was at 36%. He had reached the middle stage of a 3-star Emperor. His void attribute was at 27%. He had reached the late stage of a 2-star Emperor. The destruction attribute was the fastest to cultivate. Now it was at 25%. He was at the middle stage of a 2-star Emperor. The leakless true body activated. All of Night Sorrow's aura was absorbed into his body. Night Sorrow, you're too fast. It's only been 2 years and you've already improved. Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and said. They're all undergoing their tribulations. I've only improved by a small step. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He was quite satisfied with his improvement. Sister Xian'er, my main body is stabilizing his realm. When my main body comes out, I'll go and ask for your hand in marriage. Night Sorrow said. There's no rush. You have to stabilize your realm first. Lin Piaomiao was very happy. Not only did she have new achievements, but Night Sorrow's improvement was also worth celebrating. Night Sorrow, you have to hurry. In less than 3 years, the competition for the number 1 vanguard of the 100 Race Alliance will begin. That's a great opportunity. 2 years ago you could fight against an emperor. If you improve a little more, you'll have a great chance of becoming the number 1 vanguard. Pu Luo said. Pu Luo, can you tell me what kind of opportunity it is? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked. He had wanted to ask Pu Luo this question for a long time. He wanted to know what it was like to enter the Heaven Wasteland Tower and what benefits there were. Chapter 1775. Everyone has different opportunities after entering the pagoda. Some have increased their internal strength, some have obtained treasures, weapons and armors, and some have obtained inheritances. However, they all have one thing in common. They all have luck on their bodies. Pu Luo explained to Night Sorrow when he saw that the Great Demon King and Lin Kuang did not speak. 3 years. I have 3 years. Looks like I have to work harder. Night Sorrow said. When you just entered the 2-star Emperor realm, you already defeated 5 demon-winged emperors. Now that you are already a middle 3-star emperor, are you still afraid of other emperors? The Great Demon King looked at Night Sorrow and said, Not bad. I have never seen an emperor like you. If you want to participate, you have a high chance of getting the first vanguard. Wuxia said. Well, looks like no one can explain the situation of the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda. Then I have to work hard. If there is a chance, it will be best. Night Sorrow said. It's not about working hard. Now, as the law enforcement elder of the human clan, I am telling you that you must get the first vanguard. This is very important to the human clan. Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow with a solemn expression. Okay. Looking at Pu Luo, who was serious for once, Night Sorrow nodded. Okay, let's celebrate. Commander Lin has also broken through the 6 tribulations of the Heavenly Tao. This is great. Pu Luo said with a smile. You are all awesome. Fentian, who had been silent all this time, said. He was also a member of the Divine Demon List and was ranked behind Lin Piaomiao and the Great Demon King. Now he knew that there was a gap between them. Don't worry, Fentian. Passing the Emperor Tribulation is not a joke. If you can suppress it, you will definitely not trigger it. The two of them are crazy. Pu Luo looked at Fentian and said. He did not want Fentian to act recklessly. They were the future elites of the human clan. The original 4 edition premiere. Everyone ate happily during the banquet. Then Night Sorrow went to cultivate his spear arts. Night Sorrow's original body had advanced, but his cultivation did not fall behind. Because the Clear Sky Pagoda was rich in spirit energy and resources, his energy cultivation followed suit. With his cultivation and realm, Night Sorrow wanted to increase the power of his spear arts. He already had the foundation of the primeval spear art. He had already cultivated the foundation of the primeval spear art to the point of mastery and perfection. Now what he needed to do was to cultivate the true primeval spear art. He needed to integrate the elemental laws, will, and the momentum of heaven and earth into it. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao both stabilized their realms and raised their combat strength. Realms alone weren't enough. They had to match it or even surpass their realms. Only then could they be considered exceptional cultivators. Pu Luo, Ruiz, and Yu Zhu were drinking tea together. Puyo, these guys are a little crazy. They're making my blood boil. I can't wait to break through the Emperor's tribulation, Ruiz said. Why are you in such a hurry? Every era had a favored child of the Heavenly Tao. Their strength was not proportional to their ranks. When Commander Lin and the Great Demon King were not undergoing their monarch tribulations, which clan elder dared to fight with them? You've passed the Emperor's tribulation, but your actual combat strength is still far from theirs, Pu Luo said. Yeah, we have to work hard. We're a small team. We can't fall too far behind, Yu Zhu said. We're lucky to have met Night Sorrow. I pulled you guys into this small team because I'm a little selfish. I hope that everyone can get along well so that you can gain some luck, Pu Luo said. Pu Luo, we understand. We know how much you've taken care of us over the years. Thank you. Ruiz nodded to Pu Luo. Yu Zhu did the same. They had been following Pu Luo for a long time. Pu Luo had taken good care of them. It's boring to be so polite with me. The main thing is that you two have strong characters. Without strong characters and morals, you won't be able to survive in this small team, Pu Luo explained. Then the Great Demon King is fine too? Ruiz asked in surprise. The Great Demon King is crazy, but he does things according to his heart. Whether it's Heaven's Fate or Guizhou, they all deserve to be killed. His morals are not bad. In fact, they're very righteous. Pu Luo smiled. He knew that Ruiz wasn't the only one who thought so. Many people would think so as well. The main thing was that they didn't see the essence of it. Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear skills every day. He took some time to go back to Ethereal City and gave his main body 2 Void Origin Stones. His main body's realm was the key. His spacetime attribute had already entered the 3-star Emperor realm. His Void and Destruction attributes hadn't caught up yet. However, his Destruction attribute had the help of the Destruction Origin Stone and Ash Divine Stone. Now he needed to lay the foundation for his Void attribute. The brick-throwing activity was still going on. Fen Tian, who had a strong murderous aura and was relatively strong, joined in. The brick throwing was going smoothly. Ruisi's brick throwing was also well trained. Ruisi, the brick throwing is about the process. It's about the pleasure of the brick throwing moment. Can you feel it when you throw a brick? Next time I'll give you a chance. Hit your target's face hard. Puluo, Commander Lin, let's slow down. It's not easy for Ruisi, the great demon king said to Ruisi's unhappy face after finishing another round. Really? Ruisi asked excitedly. I'm fine with it. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. She hoped that this small team would be harmonious and last for a long time. Therefore, she didn't mind taking care of Ruisi and Yu Zhu. As for Night Sorrow, he didn't need anyone to take care of him. Currently, Night Sorrow was the core of this small team. In addition, during each brick throwing, Night Sorrow wouldn't fall behind. His cultivation base was low, but Night Sorrow was accomplished in the space-time domain. When he used void steps, his speed wasn't slow either. Oh right, Piaomiao, you and Night Sorrow's main body are cultivating. However, we can put the important matters on the agenda. Let's settle it first. When the main body comes out of seclusion, we can settle it, Yu Zhu said. Lin Piaomiao didn't say anything and didn't reply. At this time, Yu Zhu looked at Night Sorrow. At this time, it was Night Sorrow who should be speaking. I'll return to Ethereal Imperial City later. I'm going back to my hometown. You guys take a break first. Once I'm done, I'll return. Sister Xin, are you coming with me? Let's go back and settle it. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao. Then I'll go back with you. Lin Piaomiao blushed. She naturally knew what Night Sorrow meant. Night Sorrow, Piaomiao, are you guys welcoming guests? I'm planning to go to Ethereal Imperial City. Yu Zhu smiled and asked. Of course. Are you guys coming? Lin Piaomiao looked at Puluo and the others. Of course. Why not? There's good food and drinks there. Puluo said. I'll go too. Night Sorrow, don't you have enemies over there? Let's get rid of them once and for all. You won't have to worry about anything. We can go brick throwing in the future. The great demon king was also interested. All right. When I go back this time, I'll see if I can beat those two guys from Celestial Sect. If I can, I'll destroy Celestial Sect. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. Chapter 1776. Initially, I wasn't in a hurry. However, the Celestial Sect has designs on the Chaos Realm. It's not right for them to keep thinking about my base. Hence, I have to get rid of them, said Night Sorrow. All right, we'll go back and destroy them. It's simple, said Lin Piaomiao. It's simple. Why do you keep them around and let them lie beside your ethereal empire? Asked the great demon king. You didn't kill the Celestial Sect. If the Celestial Sect emerges, it'll naturally be his base. I'm keeping the Celestial Sect alive because I'm waiting for the Celestial Sect to emerge. However, it's been so many years and he's been hiding like a turtle. Previously, I devoured 80 million miles of the Celestial Sect's territory, but the Celestial Sect didn't react at all. I guess he doesn't care about the Celestial Sect anymore. Lin Piaomiao revealed the reason why she kept the Celestial Sect alive. You're pretty ruthless. Night Sorrow, it's not easy for you. Take it easy in the future. The great demon king looked at Night Sorrow and said. What he meant was that after Night Sorrow married Lin Piaomiao, his life would be too easy. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go. Night Sorrow said. He knew that the overlord of the celestial realm, Lin Piaomiao, wasn't a good-tempered person. However, it was enough that she was nice and gentle to him. The few of them sat on the teleportation portal and began to teleport. First, they arrived at the heavenly desolate city. Without stopping, they left on the Emperor-grade teleportation portal and teleported towards the ethereal Imperial City. It was already a day later when they arrived at the VIP tower in the ethereal Imperial City. Pu Luo, are there so few Emperor-grade teleportation portals in the celestial realm? Asked Night Sorrow. Currently, only the heavenly desolate city and the Shindu city have them. Even if there are others, they can't be connected. The heavenly desolate city and the Shindu city have Emperor-grade teleportation portals and crystals. However, where do they connect to? Asked Pu Luo. The heavenly desolate city and the Shindu city can't. They won't connect to us. If anyone has an Emperor-grade teleportation crystal, we'll set one ourselves and connect to it, said Night Sorrow. Do you have an Emperor-grade teleportation crystal? Asked Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow. Yes. Night Sorrow nodded. You're good, but I'm afraid you can't connect it to the Tianhuang city. That's a war city, so it might be destroyed from the inside. But we can consider the holy capital, said Pu Luo. That's difficult too. The Shindu city is the #1 city in the celestial realm. It's not that easy to connect the teleportation portal, said Lin Piaomiao. When Master comes out of seclusion, I'll ask him, Fan Tian said. He knew that what he had seen during this period of time was actually King Yowu's energy body. Thank you very much, Sister Xian'er. If Senior King Yowu agrees, can Ethereal Imperial City and Sky Capital City set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array? Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards Fan Tian and asked Lin Piaomiao. Sure. If it can really be connected, then the Misty Dynasty's development will be smooth. Will be a great help. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. She knew that Knight Sorrow didn't want to set up a teleportation array at Star Moon Lake because the teleportation array there was connected to the 9-domain world and the Primal Chaos world. Knight Sorrow was very cautious. However, the Ethereal Imperial City was different. One could enter from anywhere. There was no need to seal it. I just don't know what Senior King Yowu thinks. It's hard to even meet him. Knight Sorrow said. He already knew what level King Yowu was at. He was the true pillar of the human race. After Master comes out of seclusion, he might meet you. Don't ask me about the details. Fan Tian threw out half a sentence and stopped. Then everyone stay here first. I still have things to deal with. Knight Sorrow waved his hand at the few of them and left the VIP tower. Everyone feel free to stay here as if you're in your own territory. However, I recommend you to have a seat at the Twilight Tea House. It's a good place. I have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. Lin Piaomiao waved her hand at the few of them like Knight Sorrow and also left the VIP tower. She found Knight Sorrow waiting for her at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion. This pair of dogs. The Great Demon King muttered. Great Demon King, the Twilight Tea House was once an excuse for others to attack Knight Sorrow. However, it was denied. We have to go and take a look. It said that Knight Sorrow is the boss behind the scenes. Pu Luo said. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. The Great Demon King stood up. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were strolling on the streets. At this moment, Lin Piaomiao had already taken off her veil. Sister Xian, I'll go home and tell my parents about us. However, if I want to ask for your hand in marriage, where should I go? Knight Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. I make my own decisions. If you're sincere, I'll agree. Lin Piaomiao smiled at Knight Sorrow and said. Knight Sorrow smiled because there was no problem. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, Knight Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao and the other wives had a family banquet. Then they returned to the 9 Domains world. When they reached the city in the sky, the wives chatted. Knight Sorrow met his parents. Then Knight Sorrow told his parents about this matter. You rascal, you can't be like this in the future. Their daughters don't have it easy. Look at the situation now, you don't even have time to accompany them. Yi Wuyo looked at his son and said. Won't we have time when our son's cultivation is more or less done? Look at our Yi family now, it's flourishing. Yu Qing was very happy. What she wanted the most was to see a house full of children and grandchildren. Latest chapter Z section $0 previous chapter. Then Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing made the decision and the Yi family formally proposed marriage. The person who proposed marriage was Knight Sorrow himself. As the betrothal gift, Knight Sorrow took out a sword left behind by Yan Wushuang. Sister Xian'er, this is the weapon left behind by Master Wushuang. I don't practice the sword, so I didn't refine it. Knight Sorrow said as he held the sword with both hands. This is something left behind by your master. I can't accept it. Lin Piaomiao rejected. Using a weapon as a betrothal gift is too fierce. It's not suitable. Yu Qing didn't like it either. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow took out a piece of Shen Ice Jade and started carving in front of everyone. He used to be a carving master. Now that his cultivation was at rank 9 and his soul power was strong, carving a statue was naturally no problem. In less than 15 minutes, a jade statue of Lin Piaomiao was completed. After rubbing it, Knight Sorrow passed it to Lin Piaomiao. I like this. Looking at the lifelike statue, Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with joy and accepted it. It's good that Xian'er likes it. Then this matter is settled. Shang-er has a lot of friends. Let's set a date and inform them. Yu Qing said. Aunt Qing, there's no need for this. We can just have a family feast. It's good to be quiet. Knight Sorrow, what do you think? Lin Piaomiao looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Yes. Everyone is busy. There's no need to make a big deal out of it. It's also tiring for us. It's good to have a family feast. Mainly we have a lot of things to do. Knight Sorrow also preferred a quiet place. Otherwise, if the notice was given, there would be too many people coming from the Primal Chaos realm. It would take many days. Since the matter was settled and the date was chosen, there was no need for Night Sorrow to worry about it. Father, Mother, I still have friends in Ethereal Imperial City that I need to receive. Once the family has made the necessary arrangements, please inform us. Chuyu, my two senior sisters, Shueshi and Aluo, I'll have to trouble you. Yishang bowed to his parents, then cupped his hands to his wives. Chapter 1777. 5 At first, there weren't any seats available. The big shots of the human race had to wait. But after waiting for a long time, there were still no seats available. The great demon king was impatient. He shouted at the tea house, anyone who knows Night Sorrow, come out and take a breather. Hearing that the guest knew Night Sorrow, Chin Chin came out and asked the waiter to find a room for them. But when he saw the price of the tea, the demon king's eyes turned blue. Isn't this robbery? Night Sorrow brat slammed bricks with us, punishing evil and promoting good, but he himself is a black-hearted person. Have some tea. We are guests not here to cause trouble. We must give face to Night Sorrow and Commander Lin. If you like to call them Commander Lin, you should call them Elder Lin, Puluo said. This lord has quite a temper. We recommend the heart-cleansing tea, the attendant said to the great demon king. All right. Whatever you say. If you're satisfied, we'll pay the bill. If not, we'll wait for Night Sorrow to settle the bill. The great demon king was still a little angry. Your specialties are heart-cleansing tea and path-understanding tea. Give me a pot of each, Puluo said. The tea was served. After everyone drank the tea, no one spoke. Everyone had a different feeling. After appreciating the moon for a quarter of an hour, Puluo looked at the great demon king. We don't have to wait for Night Sorrow to settle the bill, do we? Since the item is good, we naturally have to pay for it ourselves. Finding Night Sorrow for this matter is a joke. What do you think, Fentian? The great demon lord looked at Fentian. Glancing at the great demon king in disdain, Fentian called for the attendant to pay the bill. He took the storage belt from the attendant, transferred some Holy Spirit stones into it, and threw it to the attendant. This tea house must be very popular. No wonder there are no seats. Their business is really overbearing, Yuju said overbearingly. I've always been fond of wine and I don't really drink tea. Looks like I'll really need to taste tea in the future. There's still such good tea, but good tea is hard to come by. The great demon king lamented. It's simple. Night Sorrow and Sect Elder Lin's wedding. If we give him a gift, shouldn't he return the favor? We want his good tea so that we can drink it when we return to the divine capital, Puluo said. That's fine. The great demon king nodded. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to the ethereal imperial city. There was no need for them to read minds for the following matters. When they reached the VIP building, they didn't see anyone. Night Sorrow smiled at Lin Piaomiao. Shall we go to Twilight Tea House? We're about to get married, so I have to get used to it. Otherwise, I'll be a little nervous. Sure. We have to maintain this habit. Let's go to the Twilight Tea House to admire the moon. Although it's late now, it's still all right. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She also wanted to try interacting more with Night Sorrow. When they entered the Twilight Tea House, Chin Chin showed up and told Night Sorrow that his friend came to the Twilight Tea House. Night Sorrow said to Chin Chin, sworn brother, give them some refreshments and find a quiet place for us. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao also arrived at the Moon Pavilion. However, they were quite a distance away from the Great Demon King and the others. The waiter followed Chin Chen's instructions and served tea and refreshments to Pu Luo and the others. The tea in your shop is very good. Although the price is high, it's worth it. What about this? It's not cheap either. But we didn't want it. Reese said. It's on the house. The waiter put down the refreshments and said. Not bad. They even give out refreshments. Their business is very flexible, Yuju said. Not really. This is what the boss told us. These refreshments come from the world where our boss and Lord Knight come from. We don't usually give them out as a gift. The waiter left the room after saying this. Night Sorrow and Grand Elder Lin are here. They're somewhere else, all right. We won't disturb them. They haven't touched food for many years. It's been a long time since they've eaten. Come give it a try. Pu Luo took the refreshments and tried them. The others also tried them. Only the Great Demon King snorted. It's delicious. Night Sorrow's world may not be as vast and prosperous as the Celestial Realm, but it must have a different atmosphere, Yuju said. Yes, I'll go check it out if I have the chance. Pu Luo was also interested. While drinking tea in the room, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other. After confirming their relationship, Night Sorrow didn't know what to say. Are you not used to it? Lin Piaomiao could tell that Night Sorrow was a little unnatural. No, I just didn't expect to be married to Misty Battle Emperor, the top of the celestial and demon ranking in the celestial realm. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He then told her about his state of mind and feelings when he first came to the celestial realm, as well as his respect for the celestial and demon ranking. So you're satisfied? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow with a smile in her curved eyes. Of course. This is my fortune. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, you only see the good in others. You don't see the good in yourself. The people around you, your wife, they're all very happy. This is the life a woman wants. A motivated husband and obedient children. This is what a woman wants in life. Lin Piaomiao said. But I don't even have time to be with them now. I'm not a good husband, I'm not a good son to my parents, and I'm not a good father. I even have too many enemies in the celestial realm. I don't even dare to let them leave Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow felt a little guilty. This is your opinion. Actually, you are the pride of their hearts. Also, Misty Dynasty will be our home in the future. We will live together in the future. If there's nothing special, my original body will always be at home. Our family can live freely in Misty Imperial City. Lin Piaomiao said. Yes, I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. In our own territory, if our family can't live comfortably, then wouldn't we be failures? Lin Piaomiao knew where Night Sorrow's pressure came from. He felt that he didn't take good care of his family. The two drank tea and left Twilight Tea House. Lin Piaomiao held Night Sorrow's arm and enjoyed the night breeze on the street. For now, I'll monopolize you for a while. While strolling, Night Sorrow also made a decision. He would go to Celestial Sect later. This was because Celestial Sect's elder wanted to infiltrate the Chaos Realm. This was something Night Sorrow wouldn't allow. Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow that Celestial Sect currently had 2 Imperial Emperors. The strongest was Ling Daoxiu. But even if we destroy Celestial Sect, there's still Celestial Emperor. This is a hidden danger. Night Sorrow expressed his worries. That old man, does he dare to come out? He'll die if he comes out. Even if the Great Demon King doesn't kill him, I'll kill him. Lin Xianer's eyes flashed. Sister Xianer, you're so fierce. I'm the only one who dares to marry you. Everyone else is probably afraid. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's because they don't understand. Lin Piaomiao also smiled. The two returned to the city lord's mansion. When they arrived at the VIP building, they found Pu Luo and the others in the same posture. They were all waiting with their arms crossed. Night Sorrow, you're so unkind. You know that Twilight Tea House's business is good, but you didn't think of a way for us. You made us wait at the entrance and embarrassed us. Yu Zhu said unhappily. Chapter 1778. You're really unkind this time. You left us there like idiots. If it wasn't for the Great Demon King's roar, we wouldn't even be able to drink tea today, Pu Luo said. You're going overboard. Do you think Pu Luo will say that? So do as you see fit. The Great Demon King glanced at Night Sorrow and entered the VIP building. If you want to hit me with a brick, I'll take it. Sister Xian, let's invite them to the best restaurant for a drink tomorrow. Otherwise, we won't be able to let this go. Look at their faces. Night Sorrow turned around and said to Lin Piaomiao. Since you know what's good for you, I'll let you go, Yu Zhu said. After they sat down, Night Sorrow took the initiative to say that he and Lin Piaomiao were already engaged. They were going to get married and he invited them to attend. They all stood up to congratulate Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao. Even the Great Demon King and Fan Tian, who had always been cold, congratulated them. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to the Night Moon Villa. The two of them discussed the matter of attacking the Celestial Sect. Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow that Ling Daoxiu had stayed at the Imperial Emperor realm for a long time. He should be considered very strong among the Imperial Emperors. Night Sorrow wanted to try. He didn't want Lin Piaomiao to attack. Lin Piaomiao didn't refute. She felt that it would be good to follow them secretly. If Night Sorrow was in danger, she could help. After resting for a night, the Great Demon King and the others came to the Night Moon Villa when Night Sorrow went out. They were stunned when they saw Night Sorrow at the entrance of the villa. Are you going out to fight? Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and asked. He could feel the battle intent from Night Sorrow. Yes, I'm going to the Celestial Sect. After hesitating for a while, Night Sorrow told the truth. He felt that he shouldn't lie to his friends. If we don't come, you're going alone? That's not nice, Pu Luo said with dissatisfaction. The Celestial Pole Old Man's sect has to be cleaned up. Let's go together, said the Great Demon King. The strongest among them is an imperial emperor. I'm afraid that you guys won't be used to it. Knight Sorrow smiled and explained the reason why he didn't call them over. There's nothing to be unaccustomed to. We can't forgive trash just because they're weak, Puluo said. As long as they don't do well, I don't care if they're big dogs or small dogs. Take care of them. The Great Demon King's impression of the Celestial Sect was also extremely bad. Alright then, let's go deal with them together. The main reason is because they keep having designs on my hometown. Also, if it weren't for them telling on me, I wouldn't have been exiled, Knight Sorrow said. Then the group set off. Lin Piaomiao, who had originally planned to follow them in secret, also followed. Knight Sorrow's original body and doppelganger went out together. Originally, he didn't call Lin Piaomiao and the others because he wanted to use his strongest combat strength to fight Ling Daoxiu. Even if he couldn't win, he wanted to know the difference between them. The few of them took the teleportation array and arrived at the Celestial Pole Sect's territory. The guards of the teleportation array in the Celestial Pole Sect's city couldn't see through their cultivation base and let them pass with a glare. In less than an hour, Knight Sorrow and the others arrived at the Celestial Pole City. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. When they arrived at the City Lord Manor, they couldn't find Ling Daoxiu. After searching around, they still couldn't find him. Grabbing someone from the City Lord Manor and asking, Knight Sorrow and the others found out that Ling Daoxiu was still around 15 minutes ago. They then took the teleportation array and left the Celestial Pole City in a hurry. He ran away. When we were forcefully entering the teleportation array, the guards, doppelganger or original body, must have reported the situation. That's why Ling Daoxiu ran away, Knight Sorrow said. Who do you think you are? The descendants of the Celestial Pole are all bastards. The Great Demon King scolded. He was already angry when the Celestial Pole Saint Emperor ran away. Now that Ling Daoxiu also ran away, how could he not be angry? Then what should we do? Ruisi was also angry. He came here to smash bricks, but he didn't even see his target. Forget it. Let's go back first. There's no need to kill others, Knight Sorrow said. Then let this guy live for a while longer. However, from the Celestial Pole to his descendants, they don't have any dignity, strength of character, or virtue. We have to be careful next time, Puluo said. Knight Sorrow, you and Mistress Lin are getting married. It's a good thing that we don't kill anyone during this time, Yuzhu said. Then let's take it as a wasted trip. Let's go back. Knight Sorrow nodded. Knight Sorrow, don't be anxious. After we go back, I'll send some spies. As long as Ling Daoxiu and Ling Wuji appear, we'll kill them, Lin Mistress said. Ling Wuji was the other sky monarch of the Celestial Pole Sect. Knight Sorrow, you're so lucky. Mistress Lin is so understanding, Yuzhu said. Knight Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew Mistress Lin's gentle side. This was a side that others couldn't touch or feel. Ling Daoxiu and Ling Wuji were resting in a small city in the Celestial Pole Sect's territory. At this moment, the two were sitting opposite each other. Sect leader Mistress Lin wants to kill us. If the old ancestor doesn't come back and help, we won't be able to resist, Ling Wuji said. That crazy Great Demon King won't let go. The old ancestor can't come back. We have to take care of this ourselves. Ling Daoxiu's face was full of worry. They didn't dare to return to the Celestial Pole City. Without a leader, the Celestial Pole Sect would slowly decline. If we go back, it'll be easy for them to kill us again. Going back is the same as suicide. Ling Wuji really didn't dare to go back. We can only command the elders to control the Celestial Pole Sect from afar. Let's hold on one day at a time. Also, let's see if we can find a backer. Sect Elder by Chuyuan isn't doing well right now. We need to find someone else. But who else can do it? Ling Daoxiu was also having a headache. Then can we stake it all and take down the Star Moon Lake? We'll go to the Chaos Domain and cut off the teleportation formation. No one can kill us even if they want to. Ling Wuji spoke out his thoughts. That's feasible. However, we have to investigate thoroughly. First, we have to control the teleportation formation. We can't let that bitch Mistress Lin get there. This way we'll have time to retreat to the Chaos Domain. Then we can work on both sides and find a backer. After thinking for a while, Ling Daoxiu agreed with Ling Wuji's idea. Then Ling Daoxiu and Ling Wuji arranged for people to take action. After teleporting back to the ethereal Imperial City, Knight Sorrow gave the Great Demon King a VIP card for the Twilight Tea House. In the future, take this card and go to the Twilight Tea House to get a seat. As for the bill, do you need me to inform the owner there? You mean we can't afford to drink tea? If I take out my Saint Spirit stones, I can bury the Twilight Tea House. The great demon king glanced at Night Sorrow and said, "All right then. You know where I live, right? You can look for me if you need anything." After saying goodbye to the great demon king and the others, Night Sorrow left the teleportation formation. He wanted to return to the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow's main body had to seize the time to cultivate. He needed too much time. He planned to work hard to break through to the Imperial Emperor realm. If he could break through to the Imperial Emperor realm with the void and destruction attributes, it would be even better. In addition, his clone also needed to cultivate his spear arts. Chapter 1779. Originally, Night Sorrow didn't have a good impression of Sky Desolate City and the human race clan elders. In fact, he hated them. This was because Bai Chuyuan was a vile person and Xiao Jun was muddle-headed. As for the clan elders, even though they knew that being banished was wrong, they didn't care about his 8 years of exile. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge he almost died in battle. Even so, no one came to bring him back. However, as Night Sorrow got to know more, he realized that whether it was the Grand Elder, the 7 clan elders, Gu Qi or Ling Shu, they all had the demeanor of an elder. They were all working hard for the human race. Night Sorrow knew that as a member of the human race, he still had to shoulder some responsibilities. After returning to Night Moon Manor, Night Sorrow's actual body entered the Clear Sky Pagoda to cultivate. His clone started to cultivate the mixed elemental spear art. The profoundness of the mixed elemental spear art lay in the concept of the spear art. Brandishing the spear would trigger the power of the heaven and earth. It could be said that when one's domain was strengthened, the spear art would increase the power of the domain. An Emperor Stage cultivator's own insights were all in the domain. The spear art would trigger the will of the heaven and earth, triggering the power of the heaven and earth. These were all contained within the domain. Therefore, the spear art contained the domain. The mixed elemental spear art could trigger the domain to attack. However, this wouldn't affect the execution of his own absolute art. Night Sorrow didn't fuse his absolute art into his spear art. He intended to cultivate his foundation well. The mixed elemental spear art was actually an incomparably thick and solid foundation for his spear art. Lin Piaomiao watched Night Sorrow train by the side. She knew that even though the mixed elemental spear art was easy to understand, without understanding the profoundness, one would never be able to achieve anything. Moreover, without years of practice, it was impossible to cultivate the foundation of the spear art to perfection. The reason why Night Sorrow was able to reach this realm was because of his habit. Ever since he started cultivating, he had the habit of cultivating the foundation of the spear art. Therefore, the foundation of the foundation of the foundation of the spear art was still there. When he was resting, Night Sorrow would sort out the deficiencies in his cultivation. Just as Night Sorrow was pondering, Qing Emperor arrived. "Master is here. Have a seat." Night Sorrow stood up to pour tea. Lin Piaomiao also stood up and cupped her hands. Qing Emperor also cupped his hands in return before sitting down. He didn't know about the engagement between Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao. But even if he knew, he still had to show respect to Lin Piaomiao. This was the dignity of a strong cultivator. There are more spies in the periphery of Starmoon Lake. If this continues, it will be dangerous. That's why I'm here to inform you, Qing Emperor said. Seems like there's still someone who hasn't given up on his evil intentions. Should we take action and finish him off? Lin Piaomiao's face turned cold. There's no need. I'll go investigate first and see which force they belong to. If they're from the Celestial Sect, then we'll just let them be. This might be Ling Daoxiu and Ling Wuji's desperate plan. They want to take down the Primal Chaos Realm and make it their base. When the time comes, we'll just wait for them to come to us, Night Sorrow said. If it weren't for the fact that blood shouldn't be spilled before marriage, we would have found a fortune teller to do a divination. Then we'll capture them and finish them off. Peace and quiet. Lin Piaomiao was a little annoyed with the Celestial Sect's constant harassment. Marriage is a matter of life. We can't make it unlucky just because of trash. Night Sorrow shook his head. When they returned that day, Lin Piaomiao said that she wanted to do a divination to find out Ling Daoxiu and Ling Wuji's whereabouts and kill them directly. Night Sorrow didn't agree. Besides, he felt that there wasn't much hope. Ling Daoxiu and Ling Tianji were both monarch cultivators. They weren't fools. They would guard against this. They were monarch cultivators. It was normal for them to have status in the God Devil Castle. Night Sorrow, what marriage? Qing Emperor didn't understand. Master, it's like this. I plan to marry Piaomiao. The date has been set. We don't plan to be extravagant. It's just a family dinner. Master and his wife will come at that time, Night Sorrow said. You rascal. If Master doesn't come today, are you not going to inform me? Qing Emperor glared at Night Sorrow. Master, don't be angry. I just want to be quiet. I don't plan to inform anyone. I'll call Master when the time comes. Night Sorrow was a little embarrassed. He didn't want to lie, but he really didn't plan to inform Qing Emperor. Okay, then I'll wait for the wedding. Looking at Night Sorrow, Qing Emperor shook his head helplessly. Night Sorrow was too principled. He didn't even bother to do something half-hearted. Qing Emperor left. Lin Piaomiao stopped Night Sorrow, who wanted to investigate personally. She planned to arrange for someone else to do it. Night Sorrow respected Lin Piaomiao's opinion. Besides, he was really tight on time. He wanted to grab hold of as much as he could. Feeling that his domain had completely merged with his spear arts, Night Sorrow started to merge his battle techniques into his spear arts. First of all, he was most used to using the Void Extreme Kill and the Void Origin Kill. The two battle techniques alternated. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow's spear arts had succeeded. With the support of his domain, the power of his spear arts was different from before. In time, Night Sorrow's spear arts would become a symbol of the celestial realm. Night Sorrow didn't have a sense of time when practicing his spear arts. When he was tired, he would chat with Lin Piaomiao and rest for a while before continuing. Divine Capital, at the foot of Jianghu Mountain, a man in purple robes appeared at Fan Tian's training area. The man was wearing a purple gold crown. He stood there like a spear that pierced the sky. It was King Jianghu. However, his aura was completely different from the last time he appeared. Master, you're out? Fan Tian's original body quickly stood up to welcome King Jianghu. I'm out. What's the situation recently? King Jianghu walked to a chair and sat down. After Night Sorrow and the others came, they did some crazy things. Of course, I'm part of it too. Divine Capital should be more chaotic, but that's not the case. But the truth is not like that. The current Divine Capital is very stable, and it can even be said that there are no fights over territory like in the past. Some of the powers have restrained themselves a lot. Fan Tian bowed and reported. This is the power of the Merit Emperor. Nothing good will come out of it now. You're not in Divine Capital? King Jianghu glanced at Fan Tian. No, I'm with them in the Misty Dynasty. Night Sorrow wanted to marry Lin Piaomiao, so we went with them. Master, you might not know, but the great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao went through the 6 tribulations of the heavenly law. Fan Tian's eyes lit up. Both of them are outstanding talents. You're the same. However, you're seeking stability now. Don't fight with your personal feelings. King Jianghu looked at Fan Tian and said. He had only accepted Fan Tian as his disciple for countless years. In fact, he was no different from a son. Latest be Chapter 2, Super Undershisk, I understand. Also, Night Sorrow has an Overlord-grade teleportation crystal. He wants to connect with the Overlord-grade teleportation array in Divine Capital. I wonder if this will work. Fan Tian asked on behalf of Night Sorrow. This is nothing. Divine Capital is the first city of the human race. It drives the development of the human race. It's a good thing that other cities can connect with Divine Capital. As for safety, do you think I'm afraid of war? Whoever has the ability can fight me. King Jianghu laughed. He didn't care about these things at all. Then I'll ask him to come and see Master when he has time. Fan Tian said. Chapter 1780. Master, are you going to the Ethereal Dynasty? Fan Tian looked at King Jianghu in surprise. From his memories, King Jianghu had only left the Divine Capital once. That was to fight against the foreign races. I'm going to meet the Merit Emperor and meet this nephew of mine. How many days until their wedding? King Jianghu asked. There's still half a month, but only Night Sorrow's family and a few friends know about it, Fan Tian said. Isn't he the region lord? Shouldn't all the forces in the region respect him? Why is he still so low-key? But that's good too. King Jianghu looked at the sky and thought about something. Night Sorrow cultivated hard every day. All the combat skills and absolute arts he learned in the past were integrated into the mixed essence spear art. The wedding date was getting closer and closer. Song Ning and Wu Feng also moved to the Night Moon Villa. Sister Shen, what you said that day made me a little dizzy. Now I understand. You've already married yourself off, so you're worried about me? Song Ning took out the big red dress he prepared for Lin Piaomiao. I'll marry you off first. After that I'll decide. Lin Piaomiao looked at the red phoenix dress Song Ning took out and was very satisfied. Brother, this is the wedding robe I prepared for you. Wu Feng also took out a red lacquered box. After opening it, there was a wedding robe inside. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Boss Tsang. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Wu Feng and Song Ning. Don't call me Boss Tsang in the future. My boss isn't as big as yours. Just call me Tsang Ning, Song Ning said. Song Ning said. She already knew about Yi Shang. She also knew that Yi Shang had killed several monarchs from the Demon Wing clan, so she was very respectful to Yi Shang. Sister Xin, let's hold the wedding on Night Moon Villa, okay? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao. I'll listen to you. Lin Piaomiao nodded with a happy smile on her face. Everyone from the Yi family was here, including Yu Yangyu and Papa Gu. Night Sorrow had asked Yang Lei to fetch Yu Yangyu. Since senior brother Sandalwood isn't here, there's no need to call the other senior brothers of the Medicine Valley. Everyone has their own things to do. Aluo, just invite Master Qing Emperor and his wife over later. Don't inform the others. Keep everything simple, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Night Sorrow didn't have to worry about receiving guests, so he just chatted with his children. Do you think that your father did something wrong? Night Sorrow said apologetically as he looked at his children. He felt that he had not been a good role model. Father, you're thinking too much. Mother and Auntie have already explained to us what happened. We're all very clear about it, so we can't wait to congratulate Father. How could we think that Father is in the wrong? Yi Xiaolei said. Thank you for your understanding. How about the four of you accompany Father for a drink or two tonight? Night Sorrow said to his children. Yi Qingyin and the others were very happy. They rarely spent time with Night Sorrow. Yi Qingyin and Yi Yujun were still fine. Night Sorrow had accompanied them when they were young. Yi Xiaolei and Yi Xiaoluo's impression of their father was mostly based on hearsay. Seeing the five of them chatting happily, no one disturbed them. Even Night Sorrow's wife didn't come close. In the past, Father was worried about your safety. When you came to Night Moon Villa, I didn't even dare to let you go out to play. In the future you can do whatever you want. This is also our family's territory. Father relies on women. It's not very glorious. Night Sorrow laughed self-mockingly. Father, this wasn't your intention. Actually, this is what I admire the most about Father. You have good luck with women. Yi Qingyin smiled as she poured Night Sorrow a cup of wine. Lower your voice. Your grandfather will scold us if he hears you. Night Sorrow pointed at Yi Wuyo, who was accompanying Yu Yangyu and Qing Emperor. During the wedding preparations, Night Sorrow would sometimes accompany Papa Gu, Yu Yangyu and Qing Emperor to chat. Sometimes he would also be dragged by Pu Luo, Great Demon King, and the others to drink. However, he would cultivate his spear techniques for a while every day. Lin Piaomiao also told Night Sorrow about the scouts outside Star Moon Lake. They were from the Celestial Sect. Moreover, they were showing signs of gathering. They're going to attack Star Moon Lake. Ice Dragon and Jean Ling won't be able to stop the two Celestial Sect Emperors. Night Sorrow was a little worried. Head GFA, Peach Elder Luo's doppelganger is on the way. Song Ning's doppelganger is already in Star Moon City. Why don't they try attacking? So, you can just wait patiently to marry me? Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. And then I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. On this day, Night Sorrow finished cultivating his spear techniques. When he was about to go see his parents, a shout came from his spirit sea. Following that, he used his soul power to investigate and found a purple-robed man standing under an ancient tree outside Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow carried the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear out of Night Moon Villa and arrived under the ancient tree. This purple-robed man was King Yewu. He had already arrived at Ethereal Imperial City. He deliberately hid his cultivation so that no one would notice. King Yewu sized up Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also looked at King Yewu. Although King Yewu's aura was calm, Night Sorrow could feel that he was an expert. This was because Pu Luo and the others in Night Moon Villa did not notice him. Not bad. Heroic spirit is flourishing. Don't think too much. They won't notice me. I just want to see you and find a place to drink tea. Do you dare to come? King Yewu looked at Night Sorrow and said. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's still time. Junior will be the host and treat Senior to some tea. Night Sorrow finished speaking and brought King Yewu to Twilight Tea House. When they arrived at Twilight Tea House, Night Sorrow brought King Yewu into Admiring Moon Pavilion. He ordered a pot of tea and brewed it himself. Then he sat opposite King Yewu. Night Sorrow did not ask anything. He knew that since the purple-robed man came to find him, he must have something to say. He was not in a hurry to ask. Night Sorrow did not ask, so King Yewu just drank his tea. He was not in a hurry. This also showed Night Sorrow's temperament. After a pot of tea, Night Sorrow brewed another pot. The two sat quietly. When the moon was about to set, Night Sorrow stood up. Senior, if you want to drink tea, you can find Night Sorrow at any time. You don't have anything to ask? King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. No. If you want to find Night Sorrow, you will tell me. If you don't want to tell me, then it's useless for me to ask Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow explained why he did not want to ask. You see it clearly. But even if you don't ask, I have to tell you. I am Yen Wushuang's sworn brother. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and said. My master's sworn brother? How can you prove it? Night Sorrow's eyes were full of shock, but he still wanted to confirm it. There were many people who wanted Yen Wushuang's inheritance. Many people also knew that the human sovereign seal was in Night Sorrow's hands. He had to be careful. Chapter 1781. If King Yawu says he's my martial uncle, I'll believe him. But the problem is... Night Sorrow did not continue. His meaning was obvious. How could King Yawu prove that he was King Yawu? Alright. You're the only one who questioned my identity in the past few eras. But it's good to be cautious. Is this divine capital seal okay? It doesn't seem to work. You can say it's fake. King Yawu took out a big seal. He looked at Night Sorrow and put it away because he could not prove that the seal was real. Night Sorrow looked at King Yawu. He believed him now because no one could joke about King Yawu's name. It's simple. Isn't Fentian with you? Puluo and the others are there too. Fentian cannot believe it, but Puluo can, right? King Yawu stood up and walked out of the Twilight Tea House. Night Sorrow did not pay the bill. He followed King Yawu and left the Twilight Tea House. King Yawu waved his sleeves and began to fly with Night Sorrow. The Twilight Tea House was still some distance away from the Night Moon Villa, but King Yawu arrived in a few flashes. Fentian, Puluo, come out. Standing at the entrance of the Night Moon Villa, King Yawu shouted toward the Night Moon Villa. Following King Yawu's shout, Puluo, Fentian, and the Great Demon King who were originally meditating all came out. Master, you're here? Fentian bowed. Puluo greets King Yawu. Puluo also cupped his hands. He was the human clan's law enforcement elder, but he had not gone through the Emperor's tribulation. King Yawu was a top expert for several eras. He was the human clan's almighty. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao also greeted him. Night Sorrow, my identity as King Yawu is confirmed, right? Can we continue? King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow. Sorry. Senior, please come in, Night Sorrow said embarrassedly. King Yawu walked into the villa. Seeing that someone was following him, he turned around and said, Go and do your work. I need to talk to Night Sorrow. After hearing King Yawu's words, no one else followed. Night Sorrow brought King Yawu to the hall and invited him to sit down while he stood to the side. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and asked, Can you believe what I say now? Senior, you are a pillar of the human race. I believe whatever you say, Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and asked, Then I will start with your master Wushuang. He is my sworn brother. He trained and fought with me so I can be considered your uncle. Do you agree? Yes. Night Sorrow greets uncle. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Very good. Your master didn't teach you for 2 days, so I have the responsibility to teach you. After this wedding, your original body will come to Divine Capital to train with me. Yishang understands. Thank you for your concern, Uncle Master. Yishang bowed to King Yawu again. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and said, When you see your master, he won't have the ability to teach you. In fact, you have only received the inheritance, but you can learn from his inheritance because it is the sword Dao. However, uncle cultivates the spear Dao. But senior brother Fentian cultivates the sword Dao. Night Sorrow said, puzzled. King Yawu said, This is quite strange. Fentian is an orphan adopted by uncle, who knew that he was born with a fondness for swords. Uncle couldn't force him to cultivate the spear Dao, so I taught him part of your master's sword Dao. However, it was only the sword Dao that your master comprehended in the early stages. I don't know what he comprehended in the later stages. As for you, when you met your master, he didn't have a choice. King Yawu said. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow understood why Fentian wanted to exchange cultivation experiences with him. Your master is quite lucky to be able to take in a merit emperor as his disciple. That's good. There are many people in the world who don't have his luck. King Yawu said. After that, King Yawu stayed at Night Moon Villa. After they quieted down, Night Sorrow told Lin Piaomiao about the situation. This is a good thing. Senior King Yowu's cultivation experience is accumulated. With him guiding you, you won't go astray. Lin Piaomiao said. Night Sorrow took the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear and began to cultivate his spear Dao. He picked up his habit of practicing his spear Dao when he had nothing to do. At this time, Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear was surrounded by his level 4 domain. The tip of the spear was emitting purple light, and the energy burst out. It was the Nihility origin kill. When did you cultivate the primeval spear Dao? King Yowu came to the martial arts arena and asked Night Sorrow, who was practicing his spear Dao. Uncle, when I left Tianhuang City, I promised to fight for the 100 Races Alliance's first vanguard. The Grand Elder gave me a spear Dao. Night Sorrow said. This is your opportunity. The Grand Elder's coiling dragon primeval spear Dao is the most important. However, without talent, you won't be able to build this foundation. Now your spear Dao has taken shape. King Yowu sat down beside the martial arts arena. Night Sorrow clasped his hands, hugged his spear and bowed before King Yowu. He then continued to practice his spear Dao. After cultivating for an hour, Night Sorrow rested and drank tea. King Yowu looked at Night Sorrow and asked, Do you know what the earliest weapons of the human race were? What weapons were used the most? Night Sorrow shook his head. He didn't know much about the history of the human race. Spear. Because it was easy to make. The cost was also low. It was simple to make a spearhead and tie it to a stick. At that time there was no spear Dao. You could just whip, hack, chop, stab. You could attack however you wanted. The essence of spear Dao at that time was casual. Your spear Dao is exquisite, but it lacks a certain aura. King Yowu said. Night Sorrow was stunned. No one had explained this point to him before. Spear, the king of weapons. Cultivating spear Dao requires an aura. Before the battle, the aura must suppress the enemy. We have to use force. King Yowu looked at Night Sorrow. A purple gold spear appeared in his right hand and he swung it. Chapter Z, New Chapters. There was no energy infusion, but Night Sorrow couldn't describe this spear. This spear seemed to be the ruler of heaven and earth, piercing through the sky. Can you understand this? King Yowu asked Night Sorrow after he put away his spear. I need some time to digest this aura. But where does this aura come from? Night Sorrow understood the essence of King Yowu's spear, but he didn't understand. Grand Elder's spear Dao focuses on the form and intention. It uses the intent to drive the will of heaven and earth and the momentum of heaven and earth. Uncle Master's spear Dao focuses on the essence, energy, and spirit. You use your spirit to control the spear. The spear is an extension of your essence, energy, and spirit. Don't worry, take it slow. Your foundation in spear Dao realm and body are all very good. You were born to practice the spear. King Yowu looked at Night Sorrow with praise in his eyes. Chapter 1782. After you and Night Sorrow get married, you have to call him Martial Uncle, King Yowu said to Lin Piaomiao. Greetings, Martial Uncle. Lin Piaomiao got up and poured a cup of tea for King Yowu. You, Great Demon King, and Fentian are the most outstanding cultivators in this era. The fact that you can pass the 6 tribulations of the heavenly Dao is proof. The Emperor Tribulation is divided into 9 tribulations of the heavenly Dao. The most dangerous ones are the 7 and 9 tribulations of the heavenly Dao, so you have to be careful, King Yowu said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao cupped her hands to express her gratitude. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow took out Yen Wushuang's Sword Dao Inheritance book. Martial Uncle, this is the book that Master left for me. Since it's not suitable for me, Martial Uncle can give it to senior brother Fentian. This way Master's Sword Dao can be carried forward. Remember, your Master's Sword Dao inheritance can't be passed on to others. No one can. When you've cultivated the Spear Dao, you can refer to the Sword Dao. If there's anything suitable or lacking in your senior brother Fentian, just tell him, King Yowu said to Night Sorrow. Then Martial Uncle, don't you need to refer to it? Didn't you say that Master has already researched the Forbidden Sword Dao? That should be at a very high level, right? Night Sorrow asked King Yowu. He wasn't a selfish person. King Yowu was a human almighty. If he could help King Yowu, he wouldn't mind. If your master can research the Forbidden Sword Dao and touch the Heavenly Dao's taboo, why can't Martial Uncle do the same? King Yowu's robe trembled. An invisible aura spread out and then disappeared in a flash. King Yowu left and went to the courtyard that Night Sorrow had arranged for him to rest. Night Sorrow continued to practice his spear. This time was different from the past. Night Sorrow stood for a while before he started to practice his spear. He was looking for the kind of essence, qi and spirit that King Yewu had mentioned. Pu Luo, Great Demon King, Fentian Rui Si, and Yu Zhu ran to the side of the martial arts arena and chatted with Lin Piamiao. However, no one mentioned King Yewu. The matter of King Yewu was not something that anyone could discuss, not even the elders of the Council of Elders. After training his spear arts, Night Sorrow went to the side of the martial arts practice grounds and cupped his fists towards Fentian. Night Sorrow greets senior brother. Master told you? Fentian looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Uncle Master has already said so. However, I can't exchange my cultivation experiences with senior brother for the time being because my spear Dao has yet to take shape. I won't touch the sword manual left behind by Master. Uncle Master said that the sword manual cannot be given to others, Night Sorrow said. Then what's the hurry? There are plenty of days ahead. A smile appeared on Fentian's originally cold face. He did not have any friends, nor did he have any seniors or juniors. Now that he had a junior brother, he was naturally happy. What's going on? Reese was confused. Night Sorrow's master, unparalleled sword sovereign senior, and King Yewu are sworn brothers. Therefore, Night Sorrow has to call King Yewu senior martial uncle, Lin Piamiao said. Night Sorrow had already explained the situation to her. You piece of trash. Now you have a strong backer. Great Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. I'm just a piece of trash. When have I ever been a piece of trash? Of course you are an emperor. You have passed the 6 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. You have the right to say so. Looking at Great Demon King, Night Sorrow felt a little helpless. Night Sorrow thought that he was pretty good. He had always been able to fight above his level. A. Original Version X Release C. Night Sorrow, your Uncle Master is the city lord of the divine capital. He didn't say anything about us smashing the bricks, right? We are just giving him trouble. Yu Zhu looked at the direction of King Yewu's residence and said, No, Uncle Master didn't mention this. Don't think too much about it. We have a clear conscience. We just want to give all the cultivators a warning and establish a moral atmosphere. There's nothing wrong with that. Night Sorrow said. That's right. Yu Zhu, what are you worried about? Didn't this guy do it with us? Reese pointed at Fentian. I'm not afraid. I just don't want King Yewu to worry about this. Yu Zhu said. Master doesn't care about these things at all. In fact, there are 2 elders in charge of the divine capital. One is Elder Lu Qi and the other is Elder Yan Qi. One is in charge of the law and the other is in charge of development. Unless there is a war or an invasion, Master doesn't care about it. Fentian said. So you dare to mess around. Pu Luo glanced at Fentian. Fentian did not say anything. He felt that this was not a matter of messing around. He just felt that it should be done. The wedding was held as scheduled. The ceremony was simple. It was to worship the heavens and earth, and then the couple served tea to the elders. Night Sorrow's 2 masters, the Qing Emperor and Yu Jianghu, sat in the seats of honor. King Yewu, who represented Night Sorrow's other master, sat in the seats of honor. As usual, Night Sorrow served tea to Father Gu first. Night Sorrow, go and serve tea to your master, Uncle Master, and parents first. I'm not in a hurry. Father Gu said to Night Sorrow. Without Father, there would be no Night Sorrow. He might have been taken away by some wild beast. Father, please have some tea. Night Sorrow insisted on holding the teacup with both hands. Lin Piamiao also stood beside Night Sorrow. Daddy Gu shook his head and didn't insist. He drank the tea and took out a wooden horse and a cradle from his storage ring. Foster father doesn't have any gifts for you. This cradle was made by foster father. It's for your future child. I won't keep this wooden horse. Take it because it's the best memory of your childhood. Looking at the wooden horse, Night Sorrow choked up. It was the deepest memory of his childhood. Night Sorrow touched the wooden horse, which still had black marks from the fire. Tears welled up in his eyes. Father, do you know what's the deepest, most painful, and most heartwarming scene in my memory? It's the scene when you were seriously injured and lost your arm. You held the wooden horse with one hand. At that time, I swore that I would become strong and never let you or the people around you get hurt again. Night Sorrow, you did it. No one did it better than you. I'm proud of you. Bamboo Garden Village is proud of you. The 9 Regions world is proud of you. Father Goose stood up and patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. The wooden horse had a deep story. Night Sorrow's 2 senior sisters and Sikong Chuyu all knew about it. Therefore they understood that Night Sorrow was very excited. What's going on? Asked the Great Demon King, who was watching from the side. Night Sorrow didn't grow up in the family. Because of the war, he was lost in the home of a hunter. That hunter was Father Gu. It was Father Gu who raised him, said Song Ning, who was beside them. What about his cultivation when he was young? No family funding? Yu Zhu turned to Song Ning and asked. No. He was just a small hunter. Later he left the village and entered the first sect. That was his first master. Song Ning lifted his chin in Yu Yangyu's direction. That's so inspiring. He rose up from the ordinary. It's rare to have such achievements in such a short time, Pu Luo said emotionally. At this time, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao went to King Yewu to offer tea. Chapter 1783. Your master and I got this sword many years ago when we were training. There were originally 2 swords. They weren't the product of this reincarnation. At that time, martial uncle didn't want it. Your master said that it might be useful one day, so we each took one. Sure enough, it's useful today. Piaomiao, martial uncle will give it to you on behalf of Night Sorrow's master. King Yewu took out a sheathed long sword that shone with a blue light and handed it to Lin Piaomiao. Thank you, master. Thank you, martial uncle. Lin Piaomiao held the long sword with both hands and raised it in the air. Then she bowed slightly to King Yewu. Night Sorrow, it's your turn. This is martial uncle's Sky Tyrannical Spear Manual. If I want to rule the heavens, I'll start with the spear. I hope you can go further and further on the Tao of the spear. King Yewu took out a spear manual. Martial uncle, this isn't appropriate. My cultivation is too low. If someone with bad intentions tries to harm me, I won't be able to protect myself. Night Sorrow said. Martial uncle has placed a restriction on the Sky Tyrannical Spear Manual. If someone else gets it, why don't they take a look? The spear intent will directly pierce through their spirit sea. If they can't do that, the manual will self-destruct. Your master's inheritance will also be the same. So, this is one of the reasons why martial uncle told you not to let others get it. King Yewu said to Night Sorrow. Thank you, martial uncle. Night Sorrow kept the manual and bowed to King Yewu. Martial uncle wishes you all a long life and many grandchildren. King Yewu smiled and sat down. Then it was time for the banquet. Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, Pu Luo, Yu Zhu, Great Demon Lord, and Fentian sat at the same table. Night Sorrow, Piaomiao Battle Emperor is a flower that no one in the celestial realm dares to pick. You're really capable to have her. Ruisi raised his wine glass to Night Sorrow. That's still a waving hand, Yu Zhu said with a smile. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. Where's the gift? Night Sorrow said as he knocked on the table. Shameless. However, the gift has nothing to do with you. It has already been given to Floating Mist. Ah. Yu Zhu laughed. Yes, I have. Lin Piaomiao nodded with a smile. The few of them had a deep friendship, so they drank and chatted happily. After the banquet ended, King Yewu called for Night Sorrow and Fentian to go to the pavilion where he lived. This is the teleportation crystal of God's capital's Emperor-class teleportation array. Where is your teleportation crystal? King Yewu took out a teleportation crystal and handed it to Night Sorrow. Thank you, uncle. After Night Sorrow received the teleportation crystal, he handed King Yewu another teleportation crystal. This teleportation crystal of yours contains a lot of energy. It's a top-notch Emperor-grade teleportation crystal. There should be many other main bodies and clones, but you have to be careful. The primal chaos realm is your root. You can't let anyone invade it. Only when you have no worries can you move forward bravely, King Yewu reminded Night Sorrow. King Yewu called Fentian over to ask him to take care of Night Sorrow. King Yewu left, but he told Night Sorrow that after spending some time with his family and wife, he would go to Yewu Mountain to cultivate. Lin Piaomiao could also bring him along. If his family wanted to go, they could also bring him along. After sending King Yewu off, Night Sorrow and Fentian returned to the hall. Night Sorrow, do you dare to get drunk today? Ruisi shouted when he saw Night Sorrow and Fentian return. You're not going to let them consummate their marriage. Pu Luo said with a smile. Night Sorrow, are you in a hurry? Ruisi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. What are you asking? Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. This will make her remember all of us. This will create the deepest memories. Come on, let's drink. The Great Demon King said with a smile. You guys are too inhumane. Alright, I'll go crazy with you guys today. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded at Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow was knocked out. The main reason was that the Great Demon King and Pu Luo's alcohol tolerance was too fierce. No one was shameless, so Night Sorrow couldn't hold up against them. When Night Sorrow woke up, the sun was already high up in the sky. A bunch of animals. Bad things. After getting up, Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. They're not that good. They're probably asleep too. Lin Piao entered the room. This was their bridal chamber. Sister Xin or martial uncle said that I can go to Yawu Mountain to cultivate. I can bring you along. Night Sorrow said. Alright. It's the same where we cultivate. We can cultivate faster if we go there to receive martial uncle's guidance. Lin Piao was willing to see Night Sorrow cultivate with King Yawu. Safety here isn't a problem. We're married, so there's no need to be afraid of bloodshed. We'll leave after we finish off Ling Daoshu and Ling Wuji. Night Sorrow tidied himself up and began to wash up. Then let's take down Celestial Sect completely. The forces in the Chaos Realm can also develop as they wish. As for safety, no one dares to provoke Misty Dynasty yet. Lin Piao said. After washing up, Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piao and hugged her. These bastards. They're really cheating. They ruined our wedding night. Lin Piao's face blushed. After greeting their parents and elders, Night Sorrow and Lin Piao went to the waterside pavilion. Lin Piao began to mobilize her forces to attack Celestial Sect directly. She had communicated with Night Sorrow to force Ling Daoshu and Ling Wuji to attack Xinghua City. That way they could eliminate the two of them and prevent any future troubles. At this moment, Pu Luo and the others sat down. Looking at them, Night Sorrow's eyes were murderous. Are you going to eat people? The Great Demon King sat down and said, Yes, I'll definitely eat them. I've experienced it before. I'm not afraid of bad things, but I'm afraid of bad people. Night Sorrow said, You care so much. Have you never been together before? Reese looked at Night Sorrow and Lin Piao in surprise. Nonsense. Do you think everyone is as dirty as you? Lin Piao spoke before Night Sorrow could speak. I've sinned. I didn't think about this. Don't worry. No one will torture you tonight. Yuzhu smiled. Night Sorrow, I'm really envious of you. Even my master didn't care about me and asked me to take care of you. I wonder who will take care of me. Fentian said. Do you need someone to take care of you? Pu Luo said. At this moment, Li Tianba from the Black Fiend Valley in the world of reincarnation arrived. City Lord, the war has begun. The enemy is attacking Xinghua City. It's Ling Tian and Celestial Sect. Are there any monarchs? Night Sorrow stood up and asked. Yes. The two monarchs of Misty Dynasty have opponents. They also have some emperors. We're at a disadvantage now. Li Tianba was a little anxious. Night Sorrow flashed onto the teleportation array. He knew it was time to solve the problem with Celestial Sect. If Celestial Sect wasn't dealt with, they would always be a threat to the Primal Chaos Realm. Version B first release Emlin Piao and the others followed. They took the teleportation array and arrived at Xinghua City. At this moment, Xinghua City was filled with battles. However, it was a stalemate. Luo Yuandao and Song Ning's doppelgangers were carrying Ling Daoshu and Ling Tianji. The Golden Body Holy Spirit was guarding the teleportation array. The two emperors couldn't attack. Ice Dragon Shilia transformed into his original form. His dragon tail flew around as he controlled the Celestial Sect's troops to prevent the Primal Chaos Realm's people from being heavily injured. Chapter 1784. Ling Daoshu and Ling Tianji became anxious when they saw the light of the teleportation formation. They madly attacked Luo Yuandao and Song Ning's doppelgangers. They were fighting with their doppelgangers because they were staking everything. Luo Yuandao and Song Ning's clones were fighting alone and were currently at a disadvantage. However, they weren't worried because they knew that as long as they could stabilize the situation, reinforcements would arrive soon. Ling Tian roared crazily and shouted for people to break the teleportation formation because this was their only chance to rise again. Now he had nothing. The Celestial Sect in the world of reincarnation was destroyed, and his son was killed. Only by killing his way back to the world of reincarnation could he be valued by Ling Daoshu and Ling Tianji and start anew. However, at this moment, a huge golden energy hand appeared in the sky and whizzed down. Ling Tian wanted to dodge, but his body was restrained. He wanted to call for help, but his voice couldn't be transmitted out. A huge palm print appeared where Ling Tian was standing and slammed deep into the ground. Ling Tian's corpse couldn't even be seen. He was directly annihilated. Night Sorrow then slammed his palm between Ling Daoshu and Song Ning. Ling Daoshu and Ling Tianji both retreated. Looking at Lin Piao and the others behind Night Sorrow, they knew that they had lost and had no chance of winning. Night Sorrow, you trash. If you don't rely on women, what are you? Ling Daoshu scolded. At this moment he was flustered and exasperated. Not only had this operation failed, but he had also exposed himself. I'm trash? Today I'll let you see who's the trash. Night Sorrow raised his right hand and grabbed the reincarnation spear on his back, holding it in his hand. Because they were going to get married, and because the matter between a man and a woman could only be done by the original body, the one in front of people was Night Sorrow's original body. What, you still dare to fight with me? Ling Daoshu sneered. You know that I dare, so don't try to provoke me. 6-star Emperor Realm, I want to try and see if you have the qualifications to call me trash. Night Sorrow walked forward. At this moment, Night Sorrow's body was a spear because his spirit had spear intent. Junior brother? Fentian was a little worried because the gap between the two of them was huge. There was a difference of 3 levels, and there was a gap between the early and middle stages of the Emperor Realm. Fentian, there's no need to rush. Comparing an outstanding cultivator to a trash, you can't use rank to measure them. The Great Demon King said. He knew that Night Sorrow was going to challenge himself. Seeing that Night Sorrow had left his original position and left the area where Lin Piaomiao and the others were, Ling Daoshu leaped up and unleashed his domain, charging towards Night Sorrow. He knew that if he could capture Night Sorrow, there was still room for negotiation. Otherwise he would die. Level 5 domain. Ling Daoshu's level 5 domain was mainly of the spatial attribute. Night Sorrow brandished his reincarnation spear, and his level 4 domain burst forth. The domain, which was filled with purplish-black smoke and mixed with gray energy, rushed out in all directions. After the perfect fusion of the level 4 domain, Night Sorrow's domain would not clash even if he did not use the power of virtue. After all, the fusion was complete. As Night Sorrow's domain burst forth, Ling Daoshu's expanding domain was blocked. The energy that rushed over was directly annihilated into nothingness, destroyed by the destructive energy. After blocking Ling Daoshu's domain, Night Sorrow's domain was still expanding, causing Ling Daoshu's domain to shrink back. A level 4 domain could suppress a level 5 domain. This was something that the Great Demon King and the others did not expect. There were level 4 domains that could withstand a level 5 domain. Due to the difference in attributes, there was a possibility that level 4 domains could withstand a level 5 domain. However, it was very difficult to suppress a level 5 domain, but Night Sorrow did it. Ling Daoshu's domain collided with Night Sorrow's domain. Then he slashed at Night Sorrow with his sword. The energy on Night Sorrow's right arm surged and his weapon, the reincarnation spear, moved. He used the basic spear art's direct thrust. Following the sound of the explosion, Night Sorrow retreated a dozen steps. After looking at the shattered bluestone in front of him, he realized that the difference in level had a huge impact on his combat power. His body's energy was supported by his Zhen Qi, but he was still pushed back. After the slash, Ling Daoshu, who was also pushed back, looked calm. However, he was extremely shocked. His cultivation was 3 levels higher than Night Sorrow's, but he did not have the slightest advantage even with the support of a level 5 domain. This is a fair fight. Isn't the difference between an exceptional person and a piece of trash very obvious? If Night Sorrow was an emperor, he would be at a disadvantage in one move, the Great Demon King said with his arms crossed. Some fight, some watch. In the past I only watched Night Sorrow smash bricks. I have never seen him kill an enemy, Yu Zhu said. Why are you lying through your teeth? Didn't you see the video of Night Sorrow killing the Demon Wing Clan's emperor? Pu Luo glanced at Yu Zhu. How can watching a video and watching a real battle be the same? Yu Zhu stared back at Pu Luo. Can you guys be quiet for a while? Fentian held his sword hilt with his right hand and watched the battle nervously. At this moment, Night Sorrow and Ling Daoshu started to fight for real. The two of them kept clashing, but Night Sorrow was at a disadvantage. This was because Ling Daoshu did not fight him head-on, but used his energy to attack. His cultivation was low, and his energy was much weaker than his opponent. The difference was obvious. When his energy was weak, his attack would be weakened after entering the opponent's domain, and it would not be much of a threat. On the other hand, Ling Daoshu was a late-stage emperor. His cultivation was high and his energy cultivation was deep. When his sword chi entered Night Sorrow's domain, even if it was weakened and annihilated, it still had some lethality. This won't do. That guy bullies others with his high cultivation base and profound cultivation base. Reese's face was full of anger. This is just the beginning, Lin Piaomiao said. When Lin Piaomiao was speaking, Night Sorrow's domain trembled. Then an intense golden light appeared, and the domain expanded. Night Sorrow used the Void Step and rushed toward Ling Daoxiu. At the same time, Night Sorrow also used a new spear art. The Chaotic Spear art was based on the True Dragon Destruction art. Watch this for free for all time. Night Sorrow did not want to fight a protracted battle. His cultivation was much lower than his opponent's, and a protracted battle was disadvantageous for him. Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear's 4th rank merit domain instantly tore Ling Daoxiu's domain apart. The Reincarnation Spear's black halo rippled in all directions and enveloped Ling Daoxiu. The Reincarnation Spear continued to pierce toward Ling Daoxiu. At this moment, a black shadow appeared behind Ling Daoxiu. After the black shadow solidified, it stabbed toward Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear. Doppelganger, this was Ling Daoxiu's battle doppelganger. Are you the only one with a doppelganger? Night Sorrow's body shook, and his doppelganger appeared with the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. After the doppelganger's domain burst forth, he activated the virtuous immortal body and used the Black Dragon True Dragon art to attack Ling Daoxiu's original body. Night Sorrow wanted to destroy Ling Daoxiu's original body first. What are these things? Ruisi did not understand. Ling Daoxiu is about to die. Ruisi, don't talk. Pu Luo glared at Ruisi. Chapter 1785. With a loud explosion, Ling Daoxiu's doppelganger was sent flying. Ling Daoxiu didn't release his doppelganger in the beginning because he wanted to seize the opportunity to take down Night Sorrow. Now that he was in a hurry, he didn't release all of his energy. In addition, his doppelganger's strength was 70% of his original body's, so there was a gap between him and Night Sorrow. After sending Ling Daoxiu's doppelganger flying, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger performed the Soul Destruction Slash. 4 Soul Destruction Slash Crescent Blades were released, 2 of them attacking Ling Daoxiu's original body and 2 of them attacking his doppelganger. After launching the Soul Attack, Yishang wielded his Reincarnation Spear and used the Emperor Reincarnation Slash. He had just used the destructive True Dragon incantation. Now that he used a Void Elemental ultimate skill, it would be even harder for Ling Daoxiu to defend himself. At this moment, Ling Daoxiu's brain was constantly emitting light. He used the Soul Secret technique to block Night Sorrow's soul attack, but his body couldn't move. Not only was his soul affected by Night Sorrow's secret technique, but the space-time around his body was also affected, and he was also under the suppression of Night Sorrow's virtue domain. With a low roar, Ling Daoxiu waved his sword to block Night Sorrow's doppelganger's blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear, but his longsword was shaken up. The difference in strength between Night Sorrow's original body and his doppelganger wasn't big. The doppelganger's strength was 90% of the original body's. This was the Ice Phoenix race's doppelganger secret technique, and it was a top-notch one. At this moment, Night Sorrow's original body's attack also arrived. After performing the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash, Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear performed the Void Extreme Kill. Seeing Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear getting closer and closer, Ling Daoxiu's right hand that was holding the sword exerted force and slashed down. He wanted to block Night Sorrow's killing move before his doppelganger came to support him. The moment Ling Daoxiu's longsword clashed with Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear, Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear released a strong vibration and directly shook Ling Daoxiu's longsword away, then pierced Ling Daoxiu's chest armor. Break! Night Sorrow roared in a low voice. The tip of the Reincarnation Spear exploded with an intense purple halo. Following the explosion of the purple halo, Ling Daoxiu's chest armor was pierced through. The Reincarnation Spear pierced through Ling Daoxiu's chest. At this time, Night Sorrow's doppelganger's second attack was organized. He didn't stop Ling Daoxiu's doppelganger from attacking his main body's back. Instead, he directly stabbed his spear towards Ling Daoxiu's neck. The doppelganger's spear prevented Ling Daoxiu's true body from retreating, and Night Sorrow's true body's Reincarnation Spear directly flicked upwards. Chila. Ling Daoxiu's body was torn apart by Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear. From his chest to his head, he was directly cut into 2 halves. You should die too. After his main body was cut, Ling Daoxiu's doppelganger's sword also arrived at the back of Night Sorrow's main body. Night Sorrow didn't have enough time to block or dodge because Ling Daoxiu's doppelganger's domain was affecting him. However, Night Sorrow didn't think of dodging. He turned around and his left hand flashed with a golden radiance. His 5 fingers formed a claw and stretched out, directly grabbing the middle of Ling Daoxiu's longsword. Break for me. Ling Daoxiu's right hand rotated the longsword, wanting to break Night Sorrow's left hand. In your dreams. Night Sorrow's body's energy poured into his left hand, tightly grabbing onto Ling Daoshu's longsword. Next, the reincarnation spear in his right hand stabbed towards Ling Daoshu's doppelganger's dantian. You should die. At this time Ling Tianji charged towards Night Sorrow's doppelganger. Night Sorrow's doppelganger was currently vibrating his domain, completely annihilating the soul of Ling Daoshu's main body. Ling Tianji felt that this was an opportunity for him to seize Night Sorrow and control Night Sorrow. It's you who should die. Just as Lin Piaomiao was about to make a move, Fan Tian made his move and blocked Ling Tianji. At this time, Night Sorrow's main body held onto Ling Daoshu's doppelganger's long sword with his left hand, while the reincarnation spear in his right hand stabbed into Ling Daoshu's doppelganger's armor. Because it was a close-range attack without any combat techniques, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear couldn't pierce through the defense of Ling Daoshu's armor. At this time, Night Sorrow pulled Ling Daoshu's doppelganger's long sword with his left hand, while his right hand slid along the spear's shaft. Then his elbow fiercely smashed onto Ling Daoshu's doppelganger's face. Along with the sound of bones shattering, the bones in Ling Daoshu's face were smashed. After smashing Ling Daoshu's face, Night Sorrow's right hand shook and threw the reincarnation spear into the spear pouch on his back. Then he reached out and grabbed Ling Daoshu's left fist that was attacking his head. When Night Sorrow's right hand twisted, Ling Daoshu's left hand let out a very crisp sound. His left arm and hand bones were crushed by Night Sorrow. Too violent. The monarch was hung up and beaten by the monarch. Reese rubbed his chin and said. Night Sorrow's left hand let go of the long sword in Ling Daoshu's right hand, and a shiny golden brick appeared in his hand. His body tilted, and his left hand ruthlessly slapped Ling Daoshu's face from bottom to top. I won't allow anyone to have any ideas about the primal chaos realm. After the slap, Night Sorrow roared at the doctor. Ling Daoshu's face was gone from the slap. At this time, let alone attack, even standing was wobbling. Who's the trash between us? Night Sorrow took a step forward and roared at the wobbling Ling Daoshu. The golden human emperor's seal landed on the back of Ling Daoshu's head again. When Ling Daoshu's body fell forward, Night Sorrow kicked Ling Daoshu's chest and kicked him up again. Then he leaped up and imbued the human emperor's seal with energy in his left hand. He placed it on top of Ling Daoshu's head, and the energy surged and shattered his spirit sea. When Night Sorrow turned his head to look again, Ling Wuji was already killed by Fan Tian. After collecting the spoils, Night Sorrow went to where Lin Piaomiao and the others were standing. Yesterday you said we weren't human. The battle just now proved that you're the real animal. Yu Zhu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Territorial Lord, what should we do with the remaining people? Tang Jianfeng and Lord Shin went to Night Sorrow. Don't carry out unnecessary killings. Let these people swear to the heavenly Tao that they won't go against Xing Yuehu and the Misty Empire in the future. They won't return to the Celestial Sect's territory. If they don't swear, kill them. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. He didn't want to carry out unnecessary killings, but for the safety of Xing Yuehu and the Misty Empire's territory, swearing to the heavenly Tao was the only way. After the matter was settled, Night Sorrow followed Lin Piaomiao and the others back to the Night Moon Villa through the teleportation array. Night Sorrow went to take a bath while Pu Luo and the others sat and chatted. Did you see that? This is an emperor. Killing emperors without any harm. Ruiz said with some emotion. Night Sorrow is going to fight for the #1 vanguard position in the 100 Race Alliance. Those who are participating in this competition are the strongest emperors from various races. They aren't something that trash like Ling Daoshu can compare to. If Night Sorrow improves in these 3 years and enters the emperor realm, then there won't be any problems. Pu Luo said. Piaomiao, why aren't you saying anything? Yu Zhu looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. Night Sorrow's battle was filled with iron and blood. It's obvious that he has experienced many such battles. It's not easy. Lin Piaomiao said softly. Chapter 1786. I'm not depressed. I'm just a little sad. Night Sorrow's journey to where he is now is not easy, Lin Piaomiao said. I have to admit that it's indeed not easy. However, he walked such a difficult path and trained his true abilities. No one can do this. Which emperor can kill a peak imperial emperor? There's no precedent, right? Even the sages of the human race couldn't do it, Pu Luo said. The few of them nodded. They all agreed on this point. At this moment, Night Sorrow, who had changed into a new robe, came to the hall. He had energy to protect his body so his robe wouldn't get dirty. He just needed to wash it off. What are you guys talking about? Night Sorrow asked with a smile after sitting down. We're just chatting. Wuxia said he wants to drink with you again tonight, Jianghu said with a smile. No one is playing with you. You can drink by yourself. Night Sorrow looked at Wuxia with disdain. Was it easy for him? He drank too much yesterday and now he had to fight again. Am I that kind of person? Wuxia was stunned for a moment, then explained. I know you're not that kind of person. Night Sorrow smiled. Now that Celestial Sect only has Celestial Sect left, he probably won't dare to come out. He'll die if he does, the Great Demon King said. I still have an enemy. The Great Elder of Ethereal Dynasty Yuan ran to the small world. If we don't get rid of him, he'll come out and threaten the weak of the Chaos Realm. It'll be troublesome, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. Night Sorrow, your idea is to get rid of all evil. However, some people have suffered losses and don't dare to take revenge. They have their own considerations. They won't touch things that they can't touch, Puluo said. Night Sorrow and the others were chatting. However, the army of Ethereal Dynasty and the people of Chaos Realm had started to move. They started to clean up Celestial Sect's territory. Lin Piaomiao didn't care about the allocation of resources, and neither did Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow just wanted to find space for the various forces in the Chaos Realm to develop and connect with the Celestial Realm. The key to the rise of a realm was the height of its civilization. If it was connected to the Celestial Realm, then the Cultivation civilization would improve. Not only the Cultivation civilization but also the Alchemy civilization and the Refining civilization. The cultivators would also have more opportunities and opportunities. Of course, opportunities and opportunities coexisted with risks. In order not to disturb Night Sorrow and Misty, the sky darkened slightly. Puluo and the others went out for a stroll. They went to the Twilight Tea House to drink tea. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao sat opposite each other. They're more sensible today. They're probably going to drink some tea. Don't expect them to pay for it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then let's just settle the bill. We don't have much crystal stones anyway, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Okay. When the situation stabilizes, we'll go to the Divine Capital. Martial Uncle's cultivation is high and he's experienced. With his guidance, we should be able to improve quickly, Night Sorrow said. Lin Piaomiao nodded. The people from the Misty Dynasty and Star Moon Lake were cleaning up the Celestial Sect's area. She and Night Sorrow had to see this matter settled. The two of them sat opposite each other. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and suddenly smiled. The two of them were a little embarrassed. Some things have to be done. I'm going to take a bath. Lin Piaomiao stood up and left. Night Sorrow returned to his room and lit the red candles that he had prepared yesterday. He then took out a jar of wine and 2 wine glasses. Night Sorrow then sat aside and pondered. Until now he didn't know much about Lin Piaomiao. But now they were married. While Night Sorrow was pondering, Lin Piaomiao appeared in a red dress. It was the wedding dress from yesterday. Sister Xian'er. Night Sorrow stood up. Do I look good in this? Lin Piaomiao sat beside Night Sorrow. Yes, very good. I was tricked by those bastards yesterday. I didn't even look at it seriously, Night Sorrow smiled. As long as you like it. I'll set up a formation. Otherwise I won't be used to it, Lin Piaomiao said as she tied up her hair. Night Sorrow stood up and helped Lin Piaomiao up. Sister Xian'er, I have an illusion formation board here. Night Sorrow took out the illusion formation board and inserted a Saint Spirit stone into it. He then activated it by injecting energy. One wasn't enough. Night Sorrow set up 2. After setting up the formation board, Night Sorrow turned around but didn't see Lin Piaomiao. But he realized that the red veil on the bed had been lowered. Night Sorrow pulled open the red veil and saw Lin Piaomiao sitting on the bed with a blanket covering her legs. Sister Xian'er, what's up with you? You came up so quickly? Don't you need me to carry you up? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. No need. It's too embarrassing. Lin Piaomiao's face was red. Even though she was the famous Piaomiao Battle Emperor of the Celestial Realm, she was still nervous. This was the wedding night, although it was late by a day. Sister Xian'er, you're making me nervous too. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and sat beside the bed. You're lying. How many wives do you have? 4 kids. You're saying you're nervous now? Lin Piaomiao threw a pillow at Night Sorrow. I'm a little nervous. I'll go turn off the lights. That'll make it better, Night Sorrow said and stood up. No, I was afraid of the dark when I was young. After I became a cultivator, I didn't want to be in the dark. I always felt uncomfortable. Lin Piaomiao pulled Night Sorrow back. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Lin Piaomiao's beautiful face. He hugged her and said, "When we're together in the future, there won't be any more darkness." Lin Piaomiao leaned into Night Sorrow's embrace and nodded her head gently. At this moment she felt very secure. No matter if there was a storm or not, his chest would be able to shelter her. Hugging Lin Piaomiao's delicate body, Night Sorrow lowered his head and kissed Lin Piaomiao's red lips. Her body trembled slightly. Lin Piaomiao's jade-like arms hugged Night Sorrow's neck and responded to Night Sorrow's kiss. Yishang's heart throbbed as he held Lin Piaomiao's delicate body in his arms. He gently hugged Lin Piaomiao's body and shifted slightly, allowing her to lean more comfortably in his arms. His hand gently caressed Lin Piaomiao's towering chest. Usually he didn't notice it. But now Night Sorrow felt that Lin Piaomiao was a woman who was hard to control. Following the movement of Night Sorrow's hand, Lin Piaomiao snorted softly. Her delicate body, which had never been touched by anyone before, was touched by Night Sorrow. She also had a different feeling. Night Sorrow gently pulled open the belt of Lin Piaomiao's red dress. However, he didn't open the dress because there were many small belts and buttons on the wedding dress. It wasn't something that could be undone with a single hand. "This dress is really tricky. I can't even wear it casually." Night Sorrow sat up straight and could only use 2 hands to undo it. "Some things can't be done casually. We have to do it seriously." Lin Piaomiao also sat up straight and hooked her arms around Night Sorrow's neck. Her pair of beautiful eyes were filled with tears. Chapter 1787. It was a silent night, but a night of intimacy. But before the sun rose, Night Sorrow was shaken awake by Lin Piaomiao. "Wake up. Wash up and go practice your spear. Otherwise those bastards will laugh at you." "I'm a newlywed. You're chasing me away because you're afraid of being laughed at?" Night Sorrow sat up and said helplessly, "I won't do this in the future. But it's easy to be laughed at today." Lin Piaomiao took out a set of clothes and slowly put them on. Night Sorrow kissed Lin Piaomiao gently again and got up. "Forever carat P for a long time free of D fee to C. P small," I said after starting his spear practice. Night Sorrow calmed down. He wanted to perfect his spear skills. He wanted to learn the essence of the Grand Elder and King Yowu's spear skills. Night Sorrow wanted to infuse his essence, chi and spirit into his spear skills and then use the mixed Yuan spear arts. Lin Piaomiao was studying the long sword that King Yowu gave her. The long sword was a sheathed long sword with a blue light. Lin Piaomiao couldn't even tell what material it was made of, but it was unusually sharp. She hadn't refined it yet. The longsword's edge was already emitting sword chi. Normally it wouldn't be seen when it was in the sheath. But when it was pulled out it was revealed. "I have to say that strength isn't easy to obtain. Night Sorrow, you're really hardworking. You're a newlywed and you're already cultivating. I can't help but admire you," Ruisi said. "Someone must be afraid of being laughed at, so they pulled his ear and asked him to cultivate. He's lucky with women, but he has to suffer first." Yuju smiled. Night Sorrow nodded at Yuju. Yuju was right. He really suffered. Yesterday Lin Piaomiao, who hadn't experienced this before, couldn't bear the ferocity of Night Sorrow's cultivation of the outer chapter of the Myriad Tao Tome. She instinctively used her knee, causing the unprepared Night Sorrow to fly off the bed and fall solidly. "Night Sorrow, am I a little?" Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow apologetically. Last night, she had indeed made Night Sorrow very uncomfortable. In the end, Night Sorrow had accommodated her and rested. In the morning she didn't let Night Sorrow have a good rest. "Not at all. It's a good thing that you're urging me to cultivate lest I become lazy. Let's go and have breakfast." Before Lin Piaomiao could finish her sentence, Night Sorrow quickly interrupted her. He didn't want Lin Piaomiao to blame herself and feel awkward. "Ah, I can see that Night Sorrow suffered last night. You weren't kicked out of bed, were you?" Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and asked with a smile. "Of course not. Let's go." Night Sorrow shouted as they left the martial arts arena. As they walked, Lin Piaomiao's apologetic voice rang out in Night Sorrow's spirit sea. Night Sorrow turned around and smiled at Dachira. Why would he care about this? After breakfast, Night Sorrow greeted Pu Luo, Great Demon King and the rest. He and Dachira would return to the 9-domain world to accompany their family for a few days. After the wedding, in order to give Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao some space, the Night family members returned to Star Moon City and 9-domain world. Now, Night Sorrow wanted to bring Lin Piao back for a walk. Don't worry. We won't have any problems here. Sister-in-law, tell your subordinates to come to Night Moon Villa to find us if there's anything. Fentian said. He was Night Sorrow's senior brother. It was only right for him to call Lin Piao sister-in-law. They will come to Night Moon Villa if there's anything. Lin Piao said. Night Sorrow and Lin Piao arrived at Star Moon Lake first. However, other than Qing Emperor, there weren't many people in Star Moon Lake. They were all busy fighting for territory. Star Moon City had a gold spirit guarding it. It was very safe. After greeting Qing Emperor, Night Sorrow and Lin Piao returned to the 9-domain world and the city in the sky. Seeing that there was nothing else for him to do, Night Sorrow went to the big lake below the city in the sky. He hadn't done this for a long time. This was what he liked to do in the past, and it was also what he liked to do now. Night Sorrow relaxed. No one disturbed him. The family was harmonious. Lin Piao had also officially integrated into the Yi family. Lying in the wooden boat, Night Sorrow pondered. The 9-domain world was stable now. If others wanted to enter the Chaos world, they could only go through the Emperor-grade teleportation array in the 9-domain world. As for breaking the spatial barrier, he would know immediately. Even if his original body and clone weren't in the 9-domain world, he could stop them. He had already broken the shackles of the past. What? Because after entering the Emperor realm, Night Sorrow's clone in the Heaven-Sealing Palace could use his domain to control the will of heaven and earth. He could move the Heaven-Sealing Palace around. The Heaven-Sealing Palace was his protective treasure. Of course, it was only limited to the 9-domain world. Now this clone should be called the 9-domain clone. After staying in the 9-domain world for a month, the Misty Dynasty and the Star Moon Lake had finished organizing and ruling the Celestial Sect. Night Sorrow and Lin Piao were about to leave. They were going to cultivate in the Divine Capital. They couldn't let King Jianghu down. As for the cultivation of the family, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry. He originally wanted to find some inheritances. With his abundant resources, it would be easy for him to exchange for some ancient books. However, Lin Piao didn't let him. She brought many ancient books for the family. They were all accumulated in the past. After returning to the Misty Dynasty, Night Sorrow and Datura invited Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, and the others for a drink. Then they went to the Twilight Tea House for tea. Only then did they plan to leave. Before leaving, Night Sorrow wanted to set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array. This way he could insert the teleportation crystal in the Divine Capital. When King Jianghu also inserted the teleportation crystal in the Divine Capital, they would be able to teleport to each other. Night Sorrow's attainment in array formations was very high. Setting up an Emperor-grade teleportation array was not difficult at all. It didn't take long to set it up. After inserting the teleportation crystal given by King Jianghu, Night Sorrow smiled. Uncle Master has already embedded the teleportation crystal in the Divine Capital. We don't have to go back and forth. We can get there in one go. At that moment, the teleportation crystal in the Emperor-grade teleportation array that Night Sorrow had set up was lit up. Pay attention to this place. Don't let anyone destroy it, Lin Piao said to Tsang Ning, who had come to send them off. Don't worry, my lord. My clone has been guarding this place, Sparrow Dance Army Commander Sparrow Dance, who had been standing to the side, said. Night Sorrow and Lin Piao nodded at Luo Yuandao, Elder Lan, Wu Feng, and Tsang Ning, who were sending them off. Then they entered the teleportation array. The teleportation array, which would have taken a day, only took half an hour to complete. The speed of an interrealm teleportation array was far from comparable to an Emperor-grade teleportation array. The group entered Night Moon Mountain Villa. That's it for today. From tomorrow onwards, we'll resume our previous plan. We'll do whatever we need to do, the Great Demon King said as he lay on the recliner. Senior brother, you provide some information. Ruisi, you organize the list. Also, we can't be too selfish. We'll send some of the resources we obtained to the Tianhuang city. The resources of the City of War are very important. As humans, we have to contribute. However, I respect everyone's opinions, Night Sorrow said as he brewed a pot of tea. Night Sorrow, I support your idea. I can even give up my share, Pu Luo said. The others nodded as well, including the Great Demon King and Fentian. Chapter 1788. We'll go tomorrow. Tomorrow, my original body and Misty's original body will go to Yawu Mountain to pay our respects to Uncle Master. After that, we'll stay here to cultivate. Night Sorrow said. That's enough. Don't delay your cultivation. As for the rest, kill them if you need to and slap them if you need to. Fentian said. Something's not right. Fentian, the three of you are ranked at the front of this year's God and Demon ranking board. The Great Demon King and Sect Elder Lin have both passed the heavenly tribulation, so why aren't you anxious? Pu Luo looked at Fentian with a puzzled expression. He knew that Fentian was a murderous embryo with a violent temper. His heart was filled with pride. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao had successfully passed through the 6 tribulations of the heavenly law. There was no reason for him to not have such thoughts. Master said that I'm not allowed to touch it. Let's talk about it later. Fentian shook his head and said. Pu Luo laughed and immediately understood that no matter how murderous Fentian was, no matter how unruly he was, he had no right to refute the arrangements of his master, King Yawu. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao arrived at the Yawu mountain under Fentian's lead. If it wasn't for Fentian, Lin Piaomiao and Night Sorrow wouldn't have been able to enter. When they reached the pavilion at the foot of the Yawu mountain, Fentian stopped. The Yawu mountain is a forbidden area. No matter who it is, they can only wait here if they wish to see Master. It's the same for me, your senior brother. Understood. Let's wait for a while. Uncle will see us when he's not busy, Night Sorrow said. Uncle, you're not busy now. Come, let's go up the mountain. King Yawu appeared. Go up the mountain? Fentian was startled because he had not been up the Yawu mountain for many years. Then King Yawu led the group to Yawu mountain. The Yawu mountain covered a vast area and was tens of thousands of feet tall. There was a small platform at the peak of the mountain and a thatched cottage on one side of the platform. That's where Uncle Master cultivates. You can go and find a place to stay, King Yawu said. Uncle Master, can't we use a spatial magic treasure? Night Sorrow asked. No. You may not understand, so I'll explain it to you today. King Yawu brought Night Sorrow and the others to the wooden table in front of the thatched hut and gestured for them to sit down. After that, King Yawu explained to the three of them. It wasn't just Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao who didn't understand, because Fentian didn't know either. The human race occupied the celestial realm and had a long dragon of fate. The celestial realm also had a long dragon of fate. The heavenly wasteland city was the sharpest claw of the dragon of fortune of the human clan. It was the place where the human clan clashed with the demon wing clan. The divine capital was located at the head of the dragon of providence. Yawu Mountain is the core of the divine capital city. The human race's fate isn't strong enough. The dragon of fate hasn't shown its sharp edges yet. When the human race's fate reaches a certain level, the dragon of fate will change. Therefore we can't cultivate here, said King Yawu. M/unspecified currency, forever Hajio free look, Smallby said. I understand. I will go and build a thatched hut in a while. Night Sorrow nodded. There's no hurry. There are some things I haven't said yet. How can you understand? No one should cultivate here. I'm not selfish. I'm guarding the human clan's fate and not letting anyone come close. Your senior brother only stayed here for a few years when he was young. Then I chased him down the mountain because he couldn't absorb the fate of the human clan for himself, said King Yawu. Uncle, is it appropriate for me to come here? Night Sorrow asked. He didn't want King Yawu's reputation to be tarnished. It's appropriate. You're the Merit Emperor and you control the human emperor's seal. You're a part of the human clan's fate, said King Yawu. Uncle, I'm not suitable. I'll go down the mountain in a while, said Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow is the Merit Emperor. Can't he bring someone with him? Besides, I've been using the power of heaven and earth to strengthen the Yawu mountain. Not everyone can absorb the fate of the human clan. It depends on your luck. If you're lucky, you might be able to get the blessing, but it's impossible to absorb the fate of the human clan, said King Yawu. Hearing King Yawu's words, Lin Piaomiao nodded. The fate of the underworld is unpredictable. In the last reincarnation, the Merit Emperor of the human clan was the human emperor. He controlled the human emperor's seal. But in the cycle of reincarnation there were times when his fate declined. If he couldn't pass the God-destroying tribulation he would die. He died, so the human clan's tribulation fell. King Yanwu shook his head. Then there were no surviving cultivators in the last reincarnation? Asked Night Sorrow. Maybe, maybe not. If you don't pass the God-destroying tribulation, how can you survive the cycle of reincarnation? King Yawu shook his head. Then what's the level of passing the God-destroying tribulation? Asked Night Sorrow. Passing the God-destroying tribulation is the immortal realm for the decay of heaven and earth. I'm in the immortal realm. I'm in the immortal realm, where I become a world and control the power of reincarnation. I'm in the real immortal realm, said King Yawu looking at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, the city lord said you have the potential to be immortal. Lin Piaomiao's eyes were full of shock. When she heard the Grand Elder say that Night Sorrow had the potential to be immortal, she didn't pay much attention to it. But now, after hearing King Yawu's explanation, she completely understood what immortality meant. Currently it's just potential. Cultivators with immortal potential are rare, but there are still some. But no one has really reached that level. Night Sorrow, you have to work hard. According to your current age and cultivation, you have achieved something, but you still have a long way to go. Why does your master have to go against Mo Tianji? It's because Mo Tianji has the potential to be immortal, said King Yawu. Potential doesn't equal achievement. I will work hard. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu. Cultivate for 3 years. After 3 years, you will participate in the competition for the first vanguard of the 100 Race Alliance. Enter the Heaven Wasteland Tower and use the Slaughter Chi of the Dragon of Fate to cultivate. King Yawu waved his hand and helped Night Sorrow up. I was reckless and attacked the Emperor Tribulation. Does that mean I won't have the chance to participate in the competition for the first commander? Lin Piaomiao looked at King Yawu and asked. We will see when the time comes. According to the rules, Emperor Realm cultivators can participate. This means that cultivators born in this era have not passed the Emperor Tribulation. But you are not old enough to trigger the Heavenly Tribulation on your own. It's hard to say if you can participate. King Yawu thought for a moment and said. Without further conversation, Night Sorrow and the other two started to build the thatched hut. Looking at the location of Night Sorrow's thatched hut, King Yawu nodded. That was the place with the most power of fate in the entire Yawu Mountain. Night Sorrow and the other two were relatively fast in building the thatched hut. After the thatched hut was built, Night Sorrow and the other two began to meditate and cultivate. Fentian had lived here before and had never cultivated before. Night Sorrow took out a praying mat and threw it into the thatched hut. He sat down cross-legged and calmed his mind. Then he circulated the Merit Immortal Body's energy to forge his physical body. Next, he communicated with and felt the power of heaven and earth. However, just as Night Sorrow's Merit Immortal Body was circulating, there was a sudden change. Suddenly, a majestic force came from below him and sent him flying without any preparation. The thatched hut also exploded, causing Night Sorrow's surroundings to be filled with broken wood shavings and rotten grass. Fentian and Lin Piaomiao, who were meditating, also ran out. It was mainly because the commotion was too big. Martial uncle, what's going on? Night Sorrow looked at King Yawu in confusion. Chapter 1789. Night Sorrow was a little confused. What did he mean by that? It meant that if he continued to cultivate like this, he would continue to be blasted away. Who asked you to choose a good place? That's the location of the Dragon Horn. Since you've chosen it, then stay there. King Yawu closed his eyes after he finished speaking. After looking at Fentian and Lin Piaomiao in a daze, Night Sorrow returned to his original position. The praying mat was gone. Let's just meditate. After sitting down, Night Sorrow realized that he was fine. He then circulated the energy in his body to train his body. After that, he was blasted away by the majestic energy that rushed out from the ground. There was no possibility of suppressing it. Looking at Night Sorrow's sorry state, Fentian and Lin Piaomiao did not understand. They were fine after meditating. Senior brother, come and try. Night Sorrow looked at Fentian. Fentian looked at King Yawu. Seeing that King Yawu had no reaction like a statue, Fentian went to the place where Night Sorrow was cultivating and sat down. Senior brother, try circulating your energy. Night Sorrow looked at Fentian and asked. Fentian glanced at Night Sorrow and circulated the energy in his body. In the end, the energy in his body reached the point of rolling, but there was no problem at all. Senior brother, come down. I'll do it again. Night Sorrow waved at Fentian. Fentian got up and went to the side. He did not know what was going on. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and began to circulate his energy. As the energy in his body circulated, he was blasted away again. Night Sorrow rubbed his face. He knew that this might be his problem. 8. Without waiting for Night Sorrow to speak, Lin Piaomiao went to the place where Night Sorrow was blasted away. She sat down and cultivated. After a while she stood up. She was fine. Don't do useless work. You should slowly study it yourself. King Yawu did not open his eyes but said. At this moment, Night Sorrow had some analysis in his heart. There might be a problem with the energy. It was different from Fentian and Lin Piaomiao's energy that triggered the energy in Yawa Mountain. Senior Marshal Brother, Big Sister Xin, are you two go ahead and cultivate. Don't worry about me. After saying that, Night Sorrow returned to his original position and started to circulate the energy in his body one by one. Space energy, time energy, destruction energy, nothingness energy. After circulating the energy, Night Sorrow stood up, opened a jar of wine and drank a few mouthfuls. After that, he returned to his original position and sat down. Then he retracted the other energies in his body and slowly activated his light of virtue. Sure enough, the moment Night Sorrow circulated his power of virtue, energy came from beneath him. However, as he had only circulated a small amount of his power of virtue, the energy coming from beneath him was not ferocious. This not ferocious was referring to the fact that compared to the previous few times, this time, his clothes were fluttering, and his hair was standing on end. After stabilizing himself, Night Sorrow channeled the space-time power within his body to refine the energy that had entered his body. After refining it, Night Sorrow realized that it was not only pure energy that rushed up, but also the power of merit. To refine or not to refine. It would be a pity if he did not refine it, but what if he did? That was the energy and power of virtue of the human race's fate dragon. If it damaged the human race's fate dragon, the loss would outweigh the gain. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating and came to King Yawu. After Night Sorrow had fought for a while, King Yawu opened his eyes. What's wrong? Are you confused? Yes, I'm a little confused. Night Sorrow nodded. It's not scary to be confused. What's scary is not being confused. If you don't know that you're on the wrong path and think that you're on the right path, you'll keep running until the end. King Yawu nodded at Night Sorrow. I can refine the energy that spurts up from the ground, but I can feel that it's different from ordinary energy. If I refine it, will it harm the human race's fate? Night Sorrow asked. How much can you refine? For the human race's fate dragon, it's not even a drop in the ocean. In addition, if you can draw out the energy of the human race's fate dragon, you can make the human race's fate dragon grow horns sooner. It's a good thing for the human race. Go. King Yawu nodded at Night Sorrow. After returning to his original position, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. He even ran his space-time energy around his body to accelerate time. Night Sorrow had the space-time rules, will, and momentum of heaven and earth so he could control the flow of time. However, without a medium he could only accelerate time 4 times faster. Night Sorrow could now accelerate time 4 times faster. While refining, Night Sorrow also released his soul power and felt the momentum of heaven and earth with the space-time attribute, nothingness attribute, and destruction attribute. At this time, Night Sorrow's body was shrouded in a layer of hazy energy, and the figure inside could not be seen clearly. This was the space-time energy, and it was this energy that separated Night Sorrow from the real world. King Yawu stood up and looked at Night Sorrow's cultivation state. With the Merit Emperor's energy guiding, the day when the human race's fate dragon will grow horns is not far away. At this time, in the Night Moon Villa in the Divine Capital, Reese was recording things, mainly to organize the information. When he found a suitable target, he would start smashing bricks. Night Sorrow, how are you doing? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. She and Night Sorrow's doppelganger were in the Night Moon Villa, and so was Fentian. I've already started cultivating. In the future, my energy might reach the limit first. However, it's useless to keep up with my energy because my realm is not enough. Night Sorrow said. This was the trend he had foreseen. He did not mention the other benefit, which was that it could increase the maturity of his merit power. This was extremely rare and had never happened before. In the past, his merit power would only increase naturally and slowly, but now it could be absorbed and refined. This was something that Night Sorrow could not imagine. If you use energy to break through your realm, that would be amazing. Using strength to prove one's Tao is a legend. In the past, there were people who used strength to prove one's Tao, but they were all reincarnated and merged with the original body. They could use energy to break through their realm without directly cultivating. Reese looked at Night Sorrow and said, Reese, don't be sarcastic. You should know that some legends can be broken. Ordinary people like us can't do it, but Night Sorrow might be able to do it. Don't forget that Night Sorrow is now the only Merit Emperor in the Celestial Realm. Pu Luo looked at Reese and said, If there's a chance, I'll give it a try. However, I still don't understand. If I have energy but my realm is low, isn't that a difference in strength? Night Sorrow looked at them and asked. It's not like that. Cultivators who use strength to prove one's Tao will definitely surpass those who have comprehended their realm. As for why, don't ask me, I don't know either. Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and shook his head. Chapter 1790. Night Sorrow nodded at the Great Demon King. I can't predict what the future will be like, but I'll work hard, Night Sorrow said. Your cultivation is trash, but you're confident. The Great Demon King looked at Night Sorrow and turned his head away. How are we trash? You must have been trash when you were his age. Lin Piaomiao was dissatisfied after hearing the Great Demon King's words. I just said a few words about your man. Do you have to be so agitated? The Great Demon King looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, he's very confident. Your words will hurt him. Lin Piaomiao handed a cup of tea to Night Sorrow and shook her head at Night Sorrow. Sister Xianer, it's nothing. One day he'll say that I'm not trash. Night Sorrow smiled. Just then Ruisi knocked on the table. Is this a good target? This guy likes to marry mortal girls and changes them frequently. How can he be so shameless? He's even the leader of a force. How shameless. After Ruisi said that, everyone nodded in agreement. They looked down on this brick-smacking target. As soon as the sky turned dark, they set off. Fentian and Ruisi stood guard outside to prevent anyone from running away. With so many people, there was no one to smack the brick. It wasn't difficult at all. After a while, they smacked the brick successfully. When they returned to Night Moon Villa, Ruisi and the rest decided to take over this shameless territory. While they were discussing, Night Sorrow backed out. He was short of people and it wasn't suitable for him to take over territory. Fentian also expressed that he wouldn't be involved in the matter of territory. This isn't good either. Let's form a force. What do you think? Pu Luo asked. I'm fine with it. Yuzhu said. Ruisi nodded. This is a good thing. This way we can really help each other. Sure. Pu Luo, you can do it. The Great Demon King agreed. He had a unique personality. In the past, he was always alone and didn't interact with others. Now, he felt that they were very compatible and could work together. That's it then. The 7 of us will form a force. Now let's name it. Pu Luo made the decision directly. The few of them studied the name of the new force while Night Sorrow went to practice his spear arts. His main body would cultivate his realm while his doppelganger would improve his spear arts. This was his cultivation plan. It took a lot of effort to come up with a name. Even after 2 days, they still hadn't figured it out. On Night Sorrow's day, when he finished his spear practice and entered the hall, the few of them were still yelling. I don't understand. Why is it so difficult to come up with a name? Everyone will think of a name and draw lots. I will use whichever name I draw, Night Sorrow said as he poured himself a cup of water from the teapot. All right, I'll call it the Demon Region, the Great Demon King said. You guys write it yourselves. Once you're done, I'll grab it. Night Sorrow took a sip of water and said to the few of them who still wanted to talk. After looking at Night Sorrow, the few of them started to write balls of paper. Soon they finished writing. Then Yuzhu rubbed it in her hands. Night Sorrow casually drew one. Who wrote it? Why are you so arrogant? Night Sorrow opened it and saw the words Humanitarian League written on it. I wrote it. I feel that the purpose of this league is to eliminate evil and promote kindness. It will allow the human race to have a good atmosphere and uphold justice. Isn't it better to call it the Humanitarian League? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. All right. Seeing that it was written by Lin Piaomiao and hearing her explanation, Night Sorrow didn't have any objections. Ruisi looked at Night Sorrow in disdain. We wrote it arrogantly. Is it okay if it's written by your wife? I think it's pretty good. All right, the name has been decided. You guys continue to study it, Night Sorrow said and left the hall to do his own things. Regarding the Humanitarian League, Night Sorrow didn't express any opinions because other than him and Fentian, the others were all elders of the human race. There was also a law enforcement elder, so he didn't need to say anything. However, a day later another problem arose. No one was willing to take up the role before the leader was chosen. Pu Luo, you're the law enforcement elder of the human race's clan elder association. Can't you do this? Night Sorrow said when he saw that there was no result. No, I'm in the clan elder association. I usually don't care about anything. Pu Luo shook his head. Great Demon King, can't you do it? Night Sorrow looked at the Great Demon King. If you want to kill someone or smash a brick, I'll do it. Forget about the leader. The Great Demon King wasn't interested. All right then. We don't need a leader in the future. Let's discuss everything. If there's no result, then we'll just follow the majority, Night Sorrow said and continued to practice his spear arts. That's a good idea, but we need a leader. Otherwise, we won't even have a representative when negotiating with others, Yuzhu voiced her opinion. Night Sorrow, you can be the leader, Puluo said. I'm not interested. You're all heroes. Let a piece of trash like me be the leader. Stop joking, Night Sorrow said and left the hall to practice his spear arts. Night Sorrow practiced his spear arts for a while, but Fentian stopped him. Original N version 8 equals release %D. Let's go. Let's find a place to drink and celebrate the establishment of our humanitarian league, the Great Demon King said. It's quick this time. The leader has been chosen. Who is it? Night Sorrow threw the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear into the holster on his back and asked. Once you've been chosen, you'll be the leader of our humanitarian league, Reese said with a smile. I'm not doing this, Night Sorrow shook his head. No, this is the result of our research. The minority obeys the majority, the Great Demon King said as he patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Who's the minority? Who's the majority? Night Sorrow's eyes looked at the few of them. We're the majority. You're the minority, so you have no room to refute. As for the matter, you don't have to worry. We'll discuss and arrange it together. Puluo's face was also full of smiles. They were stuck on other things, but when it came to electing Night Sorrow as the leader, no one objected. Lin Piaomiao smiled and shook her head at Night Sorrow. She was happy because this was her recognition of Night Sorrow. I understand what a piece of trash is and what it means to bully others. You're bullying a piece of trash like me, Night Sorrow said helplessly. That's not it. Let's be serious. We all believe in you. Besides, you have good connections. The 7 clan elders are very friendly to you. The Grand Elder also has a good impression of you. He even taught you his secret techniques. In the Divine Capital, no one has a stronger background than you. Fentian's background is strong, but he can't do anything without the Divine Capital, Puluo said. Yes, no one is more suitable than you. The Humanitarian League's leader is very powerful. Let's see who dares to touch our leader in the future, Yuzhu said as she waved her hand. Chapter 1791. If you didn't do anything wrong, then we're the ones who said it. Humph, you'll have to clean up your own mess. The Demon King sneered. Alright, let's celebrate. After the celebration, each of you can send a team of your elites over and start fighting for territory. Night Sorrow was also excited. Haha. It's hard to imagine that you're the Merit Emperor. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and laughed. She was happy that her husband had such a high status. He was the leader of the Humanitarian League. Everyone had to give him some face wherever he went. Humans have emotions and desires. What's wrong with fighting for territory? Night Sorrow shook his head. I know you have emotions and desires. You even used an illusion to cover up your wedding night. Yuzhu looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. However, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao looked at Yuzhu angrily. This meant that Yuzhu really did investigate. If it wasn't for the illusion, Yuzhu would have found out about them. The others shook their heads and walked out. However, when they passed by Yuzhu, they looked at her strangely. Ruisi, who was the last to leave, said, Women's hearts are unpredictable. They are always restless. This made Yuzhu very angry. However, Ruisi walked in front and didn't give her a chance to scold them. They found the best restaurant in the holy capital and started eating and drinking. High-level cultivators rarely did this, but they were all very happy today. However, after they finished eating and drinking, no one paid the bill. You all have big families and businesses. If you don't pay the bill, why are you sitting here? Night Sorrow stared at them. You're the Alliance Master. You've become the Alliance Master of the Human Dao Alliance. Shouldn't you treat us to a meal? Puluo took a sip of tea and said, Alright, I admit defeat. It's hard to imagine that you all are like this. Night Sorrow went to pay the bill. 300,000 Saint Spirit Stones. Seeing Night Sorrow pay the bill with his storage ring, the innkeeper looked at Night Sorrow as if he was looking at an idiot. Sister Xin, I don't understand. What's with that look? Night Sorrow asked. You can't be blamed for this. The Holy Capital City Lord Office has opened up the storage of Holy Spirit Stones. After you deposit them, you'll be issued a Holy Spirit Stone card. This represents 1 million. Lin Piaomiao took out a blue crystal card and said, I really don't know. No one told me. You guys didn't give me a crystal card when we were splitting the resources, Night Sorrow said as he looked at them. Puluo looked at Night Sorrow and said, You always use Holy Spirit stones to buy things, so we thought you liked shiny things. During this period of time, Night Sorrow didn't care about the resources. After the brick auction, the resources were all collected by Pu Luo and the others. Then they would divide the resources and he would take whatever was given to him. On the next chapter. Sister Xian, I hate it when people look at me like I'm an idiot. Help me exchange 10 million later. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao smiled. Night Sorrow didn't lack resources. He had a solid foundation. Night Sorrow, don't mind this. I won't use the Holy Spirit stone card. You still have the storage ring. If I'm the one paying the bill, just transfer the Holy Spirit stones out of the ring. Look down on him? Just bury him. The great demon king said to Night Sorrow. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow continued to practice his spear skills. The others began to study the formation of the Humanitarian League. They also needed to choose a headquarters. After the Humanitarian League was formed, they needed a formal place to work. We haven't been looking for trouble with Li Zongyuan recently. He's been hiding. Let's take over his nest in the holy capital. The great demon king said. Everyone agreed. Li Zongyuan's Ocean Sky Mansion was very extravagant. It wasn't far from the Night Moon Villa. During this time, the great demon king really went to the Ocean Sky Mansion. But since Li Zongyuan wasn't there, he didn't do anything. He also didn't mention this to the others. Everyone agreed. Then they went to gather people. Everyone had to bring a group of elites over. Lin Piaomiao was the fastest. The reason was because the Holy Capital and Misty Imperial City were connected by an Emperor-grade teleportation array. If I'm not here. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and smiled. Lin Piaomiao blushed. She naturally understood what Night Sorrow meant. Now that the others weren't back, it was because the two of them were in the same world. However, they were both doppelgangers. They couldn't do anything now. On the Yawo Mountain, Night Sorrow and the others were cultivating. Night Sorrow was refining the energy that rushed into his body. He was strengthening the energy of various attributes. At the same time, he was refining the power of merit that entered his body. When he was guiding the energy in the Yawo Mountain, Night Sorrow was very careful with his power of merit. Because if it was too strong, the energy that rushed out of the Yawo Mountain would be fierce. He would be blasted away. This was how he controlled it. When he was strengthening the energy in his body, Night Sorrow's soul connected with the heaven and earth. He was comprehending the power of heaven and earth. When he first arrived at the Yawo Mountain, Night Sorrow felt that it was ordinary. It wasn't a place where the will of heaven and earth and the power of heaven and earth manifested. But now he didn't think so. After the energy rushed out of the Yawo Mountain, it connected with the sky and created a collision. The will of various attributes and the power of heaven and earth appeared. Even if time was only 4 times faster, his comprehension speed wasn't slow. King Yowu had been paying attention to the cultivation of Night Sorrow and the other two. He was mainly paying attention to Night Sorrow. Looking at the energy wrapped around Night Sorrow's body and the essence, energy, and spirit that naturally flowed out of Night Sorrow's body with spear intent, King Yowu was very satisfied. He never thought that Night Sorrow would have such a cultivation effect. When he let Night Sorrow cultivate in the Yawo Mountain, King Yowu's original intention was to let Night Sorrow obtain some of the fate of the human race. But he never thought that it would have such an effect. At this moment, the clouds above the Yawo Mountain were rolling. It was a scene caused by the dragon of fate connecting with the heaven and earth. The power of heaven and earth contained within was very strong. King Yowu knew that it wasn't only Night Sorrow's cultivation that went smoothly. Lin Piaomiao and Fentian would also borrow the power of heaven and earth that Night Sorrow triggered. The power of heaven and earth contained the power of fate, which would be of great help to them. Is this what it means to have someone close to the body of merit with fate? King Yowu murmured. He knew that without Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao and Fentian wouldn't have such an opportunity. Yishang was cultivating at full speed. While he was raising his cultivation level, he was constantly refining the energy that was rushing into his body. The energy that rushed into Night Sorrow's body was incomparably pure. He didn't need to refine the impurities. He just needed to integrate it into his own energy. It was much easier than normal cultivation. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate his own energy to saturation. Using strength to prove one's Tao was a legend. But if there was a chance, Night Sorrow wouldn't let it go. At this moment, in the Devil Wing Clan's Devil Imperial City, Mo Lu and Mo Tianji were reporting the situation. Trash. An energy appeared and directly knocked Mo Lu over. Mo Lu stabilized himself and didn't dare to speak. Chapter 1792. Yes, Emolu will go look for her immediately. Emolu bowed. This is a strand of hair that I once had. This is my natal weapon. Use these two as a medium to find the one that suits me the most. A silver strand of hair and a long sword flew towards Emolu. It was Emo Chinji's hair and long sword. Emo Chinji had been burned by the virtuous flames, but her nascent soul was still able to fight when it left her body. Her weapon and storage ring were taken away by her nascent soul. They did not fall into Night Sorrow's hands. Emolu bowed and left. He knew that he couldn't take back Emo Chinji's body at the moment. He had to find the Purine woman and let Emo Chinji borrow her body. Only then could she ensure that her soul power wouldn't dissipate. After leaving the sacrificial tower, Emolu found a fortune teller and started divining. There were very few Purine women in the world and they all had different talents. Emolu was looking for the strongest diviner of the demon wing race. He wanted to find a Purine woman with the best aptitude. That way, even if she didn't have her own body, Emo Chinji would still have extraordinary battle prowess. Even if her body was destroyed, she could still possess it. The best fortune teller in the Demon Wing clan, Emo Sha, took Emo Chinji's weapon and white hair and started divining. The image kept flashing and shaking. Following that, a woman in a white dress appeared. She was sitting in a large hall and reading some books. If Night Sorrow was here, he would definitely recognize her. She was Jun Xuanji. She's a human? Why is she most suitable for Lord Heavenly Concubine? Emolu did not understand. The result will not be wrong, Emo Sha said. He was the best fortune teller in the Demon Wing clan. He had never been wrong before. Continue divining. Give us more detailed information. It will be easier for us to find her. Also find the second target, Emolu said. Emo Sha nodded and continued divining. Following that, another woman appeared. This time she was from the Demon Wing clan. Holding the crystal ball, Emolu entered the sacrificial tower and activated the crystal ball for Emo Chinji to see. After seeing the scene recorded in the crystal ball, the sacrificial tower's energy roiled. This was the reason why Emo Chinji was so emotional. Ah! Unexpected, unexpected. Don't touch that woman. You must not touch her. Send your clansmen into the human celestial realm. Find a way for her to enter the Emperor realm. Also, bring that woman from our Demon Wing clan. Emo this time, she did not lose her temper. Of your excellency, it's very difficult to infiltrate the human race. Those who aren't Di-Chi cultivators have no chance at all. Is it worth it to sacrifice Di-Chi cultivators? Emolu frowned. He felt that Emo Chinji's order was inappropriate. Then who do you think is more important, me rising again or a few great Emperor clansmen? Emo Chinji didn't get angry, even though Emolu's words were disrespectful. Yawa Mountain. Fentian and Lin Piaomiao would occasionally stop to rest. Night Sorrow, on the other hand, did not move at all. He was cultivating nervously. Have some tea before you cultivate. King Yawu opened his eyes and waved at Fentian and Lin Piaomiao. Fentian and Lin Piaomiao sat across the table in front of King Yawu. Lin Piaomiao took the tea set and began to brew tea. Master, this guy is too steady. He did not move at all under such a strong energy attack. He can cultivate all the time. Fentian said. Fentian, you are at a bottleneck. It is difficult for you to improve. Piaomiao, you can improve your cultivation after passing the Emperor Tribulation. However, you also need inspiration to improve your cultivation. Night Sorrow is different. Does he have a bottleneck now? No. That is why he can charge forward. King Yawu looked at Fentian and Lin Piaomiao and said, Q#, this is the human race's merit emperor. He is too powerful. Fentian said in a low voice. Although he did not use a spatial treasure, his cultivation speed is definitely not slow. Instead, it is very beneficial. It will not be long before he enters the Imperial Emperor realm. The most important thing is that he will have a glazed bone. King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow again and said, Glazed bone? Fentian looked at King Yawu. He has a glazed golden body now. It will not be long before he has a glazed sacred body. He will have a glazed sacred bone. Do you know what this means? King Yawu looked at Fentian and asked, Isn't it said that only Buddhist cultivators in the immortal Buddha domain can cultivate a glazed body? Moreover, it must be a cultivator with high attainments in the path of karma and the path of mind. It is less than 1 in a million. Fentian thought for a moment and said, He knew some secrets. An Emperor realm merit body with a flawless heart. This is the path of mind. When one's merit power enters the 9th level, there is no karma in the body. Therefore it is not strange to cultivate a glazed sacred bone. King Yewu explained to Fan Tian and Lin Piaomiao. We have to keep an eye on him. He is full of treasures. Don't let any evil people have ideas about him. A trace of fear appeared in Fan Tian's eyes. He knew what a glazed sacred bone was. Lin Piaomiao was also a little nervous. Why did Yuan Ji of the Misty Dynasty have a good combat strength even though his cultivation was average? It was because he had a glazed sacred bone in his left hand. Knight Sorrow is young. You should think for him. Besides, one of you is his wife and the other is his senior brother. You will have luck by his side. Go and cultivate. King Yewu nodded at Fan Tian and Lin Piaomiao. In the Night Moon Villa of the Divine Capital, Knight Sorrow was still practicing his spear. However, sometimes he would stand there for a long time before shooting out a single spear. Although it was just a single spear without any energy, it could change the wind and clouds in the sky. He has the charm of master spear technique. His essence, energy, and spirit have already merged into the spear. Looking at Knight Sorrow who was practicing his spear technique, Fan Tian's eyes were filled with surprise. Cultivating to the Emperor realm at around 200 years old. His comprehension and aptitude are naturally not bad. Pu Luo said. After cultivating for a while, Knight Sorrow returned to the front of the hall. How is the construction of our humanitarian league going? Don't worry. We have already taken over Li Zongyuan's Ocean Sky Mansion. We are currently renovating it. Some other territories have also been taken over by our humanitarian league. It won't be long before the humanitarian league becomes famous. Pu Luo said with a smile. Let's not talk about strength first. Your status as the league leader is comparable to any overlord. How do you feel? Great Demon King looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. What's so good about it? I understand what you mean. Thank you for your kindness. However, I will obtain whatever I need through my own efforts. Fame and dignity. Knight Sorrow said to Great Demon King. How is your original body now? Lin Piaomiao looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Chapter 1793. Your original body shut off its spiritual consciousness and went into seclusion? Fan Tian's eyes were filled with shock. Yes, it has been a while. The Yawu Mountain's momentum is very strong. My original body is trying to comprehend it, so I shut off my spiritual consciousness. That way I won't be affected, Knight Sorrow said. I'll be waiting for you to come out. You'll probably be an imperial emperor by then. Yu Zhu cupped her hands at Knight Sorrow. It was very rare for one to go into seclusion after gaining enlightenment. Every time one gained enlightenment, it would bring about great progress. It could even be said that it was something that could only be found by chance. I hope so. Knight Sorrow was very confident in himself. After that, everyone started to talk about the development and future of the Humanitarian League. In the end, they found out that there was a lack of management talent. Pu Luo and the others were the leaders of their own forces. In their own forces, they only controlled the direction and the details were handled by their subordinates. If you're talking about management talent, I do have one. But don't look down on him because of his low cultivation. Otherwise, I'd rather not bring him here, Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Whoever dares to look down on him, just kill him. It doesn't matter if his cultivation is low. I'll send an imperial emperor to protect him, the Great Demon King said to Knight Sorrow. He was decisive in killing. This was his personality. If you want the protection of a female imperial emperor, I'm talking about a female, Knight Sorrow said to the Great Demon King. He was talking about Jun Xuanji. Knight Sorrow's forces could be said to have all withdrawn from the world of reincarnation. Knight Sorrow did not develop in the world of reincarnation, so Jun Xuanji returned to the Nine Regions world. Now he was managing the development of the Nine Regions world with Taishu Yen. Are forever and forever, free of plus Fise. Okay, you call the shots, the Great Demon King nodded. Okay, I'll have her come over later. She's definitely a talent, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. At this moment, an old man appeared outside the divine capital. However, he did not continue to fly. He just stood in place. The moment he stabilized himself, a figure appeared. He was wearing a purple battle robe and a purple gold crown. It was King Yewu. King Xuanwu, you stopped and didn't enter the divine capital. I gave you some face. Tell me, what is it? King Yewu looked at the green-robed elder and said, with King Yewu in charge of the divine capital, no one can act presumptuously. Naturally, I can't barge in either. I'm here to ask King Yewu for your convenience. Let's enter the city to find someone. The old man cupped his hands at King Yewu. You are not allowed to use any force. I will give you 3 days. King Yewu then disappeared. Looking in the direction where King Yewu left, King Black Tortoise pondered for a while. So strong. Is the human clan going to rise again? The Black Tortoise King flashed into the god's capital and appeared in the Night Moon Villa. The moment he appeared, the weapons of Pu Luo, the great demon king, and the others all appeared in their hands. How dare you, this is the divine capital. Fentian pointed his sword at the old man. He saw that the old man had horns on his head and knew that he was not a human. I've told King Yewu about this. Also, I don't have any ill intentions. I just want to talk to him. The green-robed old man, King Black Tortoise, looked at Night Sorrow. Senior, please. Night Sorrow pointed at the hall of the Night Moon Villa. King Black Tortoise entered the hall and sat down. He then introduced himself. I'm the patriarch of the Black Tortoise clan. I'm here to negotiate with the Night Region Lord. Can you let us take away the descendant in your world? Long Xianxing. Night Sorrow knew the purpose of this old man's visit. Just like the Golden Dragon clan, the Ice Phoenix clan, and the Green Rock clan, he was here for the descendant. He wanted to take Long Xianxing away. Of course, it was now King Long Xianxing. Sure, I won't block the future of anyone in the 9-domain world. However, the premise is that you can't force them. You have to respect their choice. If he's willing to return to your Black Tortoise clan, you can't let him suffer any grievances. Otherwise, even if I can't defeat him, I, Night Sorrow, will demand an explanation. Night Sorrow looked at King Black Tortoise and said, Alright, I promise you. If he's willing to return to my clan, my Black Tortoise clan will do our best to nurture him. King Black Tortoise nodded. He did not feel disgusted. Instead, he felt gratified for the descendant. Senior, please rest here. I've already informed him. He'll be here soon. Night Sorrow said, Hurry up. If I stay here for too long, your city lord King Yewu will be dissatisfied. The human race and the Black Tortoise clan are allies. Therefore, some conflicts have to be avoided. King Black Tortoise said to Night Sorrow. King Black Tortoise went to the guest room to rest. Night Sorrow and the others were in the hall of the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow, how many situations like this have happened in our 9-domain world? One by one they've been taken away. Lin Piaomiao said. I don't know. Why would something like this happen in the 9-domain world? I'm also confused. When my original body stops meditating, I'll ask my uncle. Night Sorrow shook his head. He really did not understand. Could you have been sent to the 9-domain world by some powerful clan? Lin Piaomiao smiled at Night Sorrow. I'm a human, okay? Don't you know? Night Sorrow glanced at Lin Piaomiao. After the wedding, you're still wondering if your husband is a human. Lin Piaomiao, you're a genius. Yu Zhu laughed. Wrong. I meant that he's not a human clan. Lin Piaomiao's face turned red from Yu Zhu's words. Impossible. If there's a memory seal, then Night Sorrow would have already entered the Overlord realm. The seal would have been broken. I don't know who can make the seal so strong that even an Overlord realm can't break it. Pu Luo said. Don't think too much. I have parents. My parents gave birth to me. Night Sorrow said unhappily. Night Sorrow, apart from yourself, I want to teach you something. If it's a soul that's sent in and reincarnated, it has nothing to do with whether your parents gave birth to you or not. Ruisi said. What do you mean by that? How dare you doubt my origins? I'll say it again. I'm 100% a human. Night Sorrow slammed the table. No one said you're not a human. We're just imagining things. Yu Zhu said with a smile. Night Sorrow, you don't have a problem. But you have to be careful. There are some outstanding people in your world who can send in their descendants. Therefore, it's also possible that some people with exceedingly powerful means would cast a part of their soul into it to reincarnate and recultivate in order to seek a great opportunity and prove their Tao through strength. Pu Luo's complexion became serious because he had thought of some possibilities. Hearing Pu Luo's words, Night Sorrow was stunned. Pu Luo wasn't joking. It was entirely possible. Night Sorrow, Pu Luo's words make sense. You have to be careful. Lin Piaomiao said. Night Sorrow stood up and paced back and forth. He naturally understood the seriousness of the problem. It was fine if it was someone from the righteous path. If it was someone from the evil path or another race, it would be troublesome. I'll arrange for someone to compile a list. Night Sorrow sighed. Chapter 1794. Are you sure? Night Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and asked. Yes. Although they will become ordinary people after reincarnation, the arrogance in their souls will still be there. They will not mate with others because it is blasphemy to them. When they reincarnate, their souls will be restricted by the seal. Pu Luo said. Night Sorrow, when I heard that you came from the 9-domain world, I was also surprised. I received an inheritance in the past and it said that there will be some special situations in the 9-domain world. There will be reincarnated people. I thought you were one of them at first. But after some understanding, I realized that you weren't. Lin Piaomiao said. According to your prophecy, there will definitely be reincarnated people in the 9-domain world. But it's hard to say who it is. In the future, all the people in the 9-domain world who have reached the 8th level will be recorded. There will be no Tao companion. This is a huge trap. Night Sorrow took it seriously. Night Sorrow, how about we banish those who become emperors from the 9-domain world in the future? This way the 9-domain world will never be in danger of being overthrown. Lin Piaomiao said. She knew that Night Sorrow's weakness was his family. So, she didn't want Night Sorrow to have any worries in the future. No need. In the 9-domain world, except for the emperors, no one is a match for me. Even if there is someone in the emperor realm, I believe that I can control them. Night Sorrow said with narrowed eyes. Don't be too nervous. There are not many people who can become emperors. Plus there are no Tao companions. There are not many people you need to pay attention to. Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and said. He didn't want Night Sorrow to feel too much pressure. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that it was useless to worry. If the person didn't reveal himself, it would be hard to find out who the reincarnated person was. While Night Sorrow was thinking, Long Shenxing arrived at the Night Moon Villa. Now he should be called Lord Long Shenjun. Domain Lord, someone wants to see me? Lord Long Shenjun asked Night Sorrow with cupped fists. Yes, he wants to talk to you, but it's up to you. Night Sorrow nodded at Lord Long Shen and brought him to Black Tortoise King's room. Following which, Night Sorrow left. As for the conversation between Black Tortoise King and Lord Long Shen, he did not want to hear it, nor did he want to ask. Not long after Night Sorrow picked up Lord Long Shenjun, Jun Xuanji also arrived at Night Moon Villa. After Night Sorrow informed Lord Long Shen, he communicated with Jun Xuanji and allowed Jun Xuanji to take the teleportation array to the god's capital. After inviting Jun Xuanji to sit down, Night Sorrow explained the situation in detail. Don't worry about it. I'll send an Imperial Emperor to protect you. We'll take care of the battles. I'll leave the rest to you, said the Great Demon King. Okay, I will try, Jun Xuanji nodded. Following which, Night Sorrow sent Jun Xuanji to the guest room to rest. The Humanitarian League headquarters was still being renovated. After leaving the guest room, Night Sorrow turned to leave. Suddenly he had a thought. Jun Xuanji was very talented. Could he be the reincarnation of a powerful expert? Following which, Night Sorrow slapped his head. He felt that he was a little crazy. When Night Sorrow returned to the hall and was talking to Pu Luo and the others, Lord Long Shen arrived. Realm Lord, Long Shen has something to say to you. Let's sit down and talk. Night Sorrow got up and invited Lord Long Shen to sit down. No matter how much higher he was than Long Shen, he was still very respectful to Long Shen. Just now, my family's old ancestor unlocked some of the seals on my body, so my race's memories have been awakened. The 9-domain world's Shen turtle race has nothing to do with me. It's just where I lived and grew up. Because my bloodline is higher than theirs, they gathered around me, Lord Long Shen said to Night Sorrow. I can understand this. Our 9-domain world is not ordinary, Night Sorrow nodded. No matter if it's a human, a demon, or a divine beast, they all have to return to their roots. So, I plan to return to my family. However, the 9-domain world is also my home. It has become a brand in my soul, Lord Long Shen said. Just like what you said, the 9-domain world is also your roots. You can come back whenever you want. If you have any difficulties, as long as I, Night Sorrow, can help. Don't be stingy with your requests, Night Sorrow said to Lord Long Shen. Thank you, Realm Lord. Long Shen understands. Lord Long Shen stood up and bowed to Night Sorrow. He knew that Night Sorrow was speaking from the bottom of his heart. Night Sorrow was the guardian of the 9-domain world. He was the guardian of everything in the 9-domain world. I am the Black Tortoise race's patriarch. When you have time, you can come to the Black Tortoise race as a guest. You are an important guest. Black Tortoise King appeared and threw a map to Night Sorrow. I will definitely go if I have time. Night Sorrow kept the map and said. He knew that Black Tortoise King was one of the true experts in this world. Those who could use methods to send their descendants to the nine-domain world were all unparalleled giants. Translator, Atlas Studios Editor, Atlas Studios. Black Tortoise King left with Lord Long Xian. Knight Sorrow wanted to ask Black Tortoise King about the nine-domain world, but he felt that it wasn't appropriate. It was safer to ask Black Tortoise King first. After all, Black Tortoise King was his martial uncle. Knight Sorrow didn't have to worry about the Humanitarian League. He cultivated his spear skills every day. Cultivation was the foundation of one's strength. Battle techniques were the foundation of one's foundation. Emolu was having a headache now. A few Monarch Realm clansmen wanted to use the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to enter the Celestial Realm. However, they were killed before they could pass through the seal. The Nirvana Ocean Bridge was the only connection between Tianhuang and the Celestial Realm. If one didn't pass through the seal, they wouldn't be able to enter the human territory. While Emolu was thinking, a woman walked in from the Demon Wing clan's palace. She was only a 7-star king, but her eyes were sharp. "My lord." Emolu bowed when he saw the woman. "Can't we break through?" the woman asked Emolu. She was Emo Chinji, who possessed the body of Siuanin. "Yes, they have sealed it very tightly. Our clansmen were killed 3 times. Emolu bowed and said, "Our clansmen will definitely be sent to the Celestial Realm. How about this? Send a message to a few elders. We'll go near Tianhuang City. I'll borrow everyone's energy to open a space-time tunnel." Emo Chinji said. After confirming some things, Emo Chinji couldn't let go anymore. "Chinji, I'll help you this time." A man with a silver horn on his head came to the palace. "Greetings, Lord Yuqian." Emolu bowed. This man was like Emo Chinji, a big shot of the Demon Wing clan. However, he was usually in seclusion. "Thank you, Yuqian," Emo Chinji said to the man with the silver horn. "When I was in seclusion, it was you who stopped the unparalleled Sword Emperor. Therefore I should help you." "Emolu, go and prepare," Yuqian said to Emolu. Emolu bowed and left the palace. Now he just needed to follow the instructions. He didn't need to think about whether it would succeed or not. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.